Riders ready, watch the gate.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude,
Yep.
you're not going to believe this.
What happened?
It's just you and I right now.
See?
This is I think it's the first time JV's been, and I don't want to hear any kind of, from, oh, I didn't get the link. I didn't get the same as everybody else.
I think it's the third time now that I beat him.
Yeah. Dude, he's not making it to the semi.
He's got you know what he's gonna have to do, dude? He's gonna have to start eating.
All right.
There's AV.
EAV.
Oh, AV.
Hames is late to the gate. Damn near missed it. Hames almost missed his moto.
James. Oh,
here we go.
Sorry
about that.
Look at this.
I'll tell you why I was late.
Let me guess. The cork opener was stuck. You had one of those automatic cork openers and was stuck.
Ran out of battery.
Yeah, he ran out of battery in the cork opener.
What is everyone wearing tonight?
I see. You know what, JV? I literally reached for that shirt.
I am not kidding you. When I put this on, I thought you were going to wear the shirt today.
Dude, I'm telling you, I reached for it and I thought, no, I'm not going to wear that shirt today. I'm not going to wear that today.
I put that shirt on and then took it off.
No way.
Yep, because I felt like I had
crazy.
A midget had me in a headlock or something.
It's a little snug right here, but I mean, it could just be.
No, it looks good on you though.
Gaining weight.
JV, stand up so our listeners can see the front if they haven't seen it.
Then say something.
Oh yeah.
Say something, Dave. Hey, stand up and say something.
Say something. This was our Dirty Fest t-shirt that we had for last year's Dirty Fest. I mean, it is I don't know if you could see the whole thing, but actually the background is supposed to be the Temecula, kind of like the velocity, I should say. Sorry, the KOA velocity.
That's where
trails.
The Stargate is.
You got a ET over there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, where ET is right now, that's where the starting gate is going to be next year.
You guys are. I know. You told me you're moving it. You're moving it up
a little bit.
What are you rocking, EC? What do you got for a shirt on tonight?
I'm gonna see if you know what this is.
Light blue. So I have issues. I don't know what that is.
The one and only. Oh, the one and only. Yes, I do know what that is.
Bar? Is that a bar?
Oh, it's not only the bar, it's the one and only.
In Temecula?
Oh no. You've got to be a mountain biker to know what that is.
Oh, okay.
It's in Utah.
Oh, nice.
And there's nothing else around except that place.
That's it.
That's it. That's why it's called the one and only.
Kind of like the sound of that.
Dive bar in that town. It's in a little business complex, and me and Mike went there. We went and saw Tom, right?
Yeah, we went to go see Tom. Or no, was it Tom or Boss?
Yeah, when me and Mike were both working at Hyper, we went and saw some of our riders out there. They were filming, and then we searched up dive bars, and this place came up.
I mean, it's got to be just mountain bikers, right? Because the middle. Right or no?
There's a lot of. It's in southern Utah, so there's it's a different group for sure.
Yeah, it's not like Salt Lake City. It's out in the middle of nowhere, and it's a group of. If you're not a mountain biker, you're still someone off the beaten path.
Yeah, but it's a great time, and we just played pool, and I don't know how many pitchers of PBR we have, but we drank a ton of pitchers.
Yeah,
wow.
And we did push-ups.
Of course, there's got to be a competition. Of course,
loser does push-ups on the floor in the bar.
So good,
fantastic.
I love that. I love it.
You know how we do it, JV. The reindeer games. We always have to have the have to have the reindeer games.
What do you got on, Hollywood?
Oh, dude, look at this. I'm going 1984.
There you go.
Time machine back to 1984 right there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Speaking of 1984, we're going to do a little blast back to the past on this one too, I think.
It is.
Yeah, I just don't think people know about his past. They just know who he is, from the modern day forward, but guy's got a past, he's got a history. Can't wait to share it. Hey, so let's bring in our guest.
All right.
Look at that.
You didn't give him the heads up. He said, "Give me a heads up."
All right.
Bringing him
Give him a
in.
heads up then.
He's got to put the animals of the petting zoo away.
Yeah. All right, look. Heads up.
There you go.
Here's your heads up.
I love it.
Dude, speaking of petting zoo, before here it comes.
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah.
There he is.
I was petting something.
That's right. That's why you wanted a heads up, huh? Want to make sure that wasn't on camera.
Make sure that camera is pointed upwards.
Exactly. Oh,
Where's Justin at? Isn't he part of that?
Justin is he's our production manager for our events.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is
He
the
is,
podcast. So
He is Dirty Fest.
he's Dirty Fest.
he gets on here every once in a while. We get him. He gets in the mix.
Yeah, when we
Yeah.
talk about an event, we bring him in.
That's
Yeah.
right.
All right.
Yeah, so
fellas.
He's our event team.
he is the team.
Yeah.
Hey, so
You
our
look like-
special go
JV
ahead.
looks like JV looks like Spike Lee.
He does. I know.
Oh, when you have your hat down,
The
still your head
shoes.
like that. Oh, Spike Lee.
The shoes. It's got to be the shoes.
Oh yeah, Morris.
Gotta be the shoes.
All right, our special guest tonight is Mr. Todd Huffman.
Woo!
Yep. Hey, before we get going, JV, tell him, JV.
Yes.
All right, here's
I
what
win
I got.
something?
I got probably 10 little things here for you. For an intro for the listeners that don't know you. Todd, Nor Cal racer, turned pro. Started in the mid 70s, around 76,
Yeah.
back in the rubber band start era, just for people that are interested in that. You turned pro in the early 80s, about 81.
Yep.
First race, second place. True?
Yep.
True.
I was
SE
talked
ride.
into it.
You were
Wow.
talking into turning pro?
Yeah, because they needed one more guy to make a moto.
No way.
Yeah.
This is not the only time we've heard this.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, we've heard that before. Guys turn pro. They get talked into turning pro so they can fill a moto out.
Right. That's crazy.
It sounds like something I would do.
And you took some money, Huff. You took some of their money.
I did.
I
I
like
would have
it.
won too, but I kind of slid out in the last turn. So
Oh man.
All right.
All right. Former SE rider. Big one. I don't know if everyone knew that one. You did end up working for Scott and SE as a rep, and then you started your own distributor with Bob Morales.
correct. More
Uh,
distributing.
This was interesting. Auburn was one of the bikes that you guys distributed, which GT made and ultimately led you to work for GT. You were 10 years director of marketing at GT. You also followed up doing agent stuff, which was, kind of a little bit of a thing for a short period of time. You represented Lopes and Hans Ray, not Hans Jobay. Just to say.
Wow.
You would have been much more lucrative with Hans Jobay. Let me tell you, you would have had the international market. You would have had a firm grip on the international market.
And we didn't just create Auburn, by the way. We created it. We didn't just distribute it. So
Well, we are
Oh,
going
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We
Yeah.
want to do. I do want to talk about.
Yeah,
Okay.
hold on. We'll have our lawyers online for that. Don't worry.
yeah. I want my royalty.
Event promoter, producer. One of them was called Inverts, which I think basically was X Games before X Games, right? Like it's kind
Yeah,
of like the
Kind of. Yeah.
before that. Okay, and then last thing I have here, started video production company, which you still kind of do today.
Yep.
And also founder of Frogtown, which is also something we want to talk about today.
Co-founder. So
Co-founder, sorry. Valdez is the other, correct?
yeah.
Founder with you, yes.
And I think you could say, Huff, correct me if I'm wrong, 1982 US, let's see, 1982 United States Grand Prix champion.
1982 what's United States Grand Prix?
The USGP held at Magic Mountain.
Oh no, I got second.
Oh,
Great.
Shoot. Well, I was
Ronnie
cheering for you.
Anderson.
That's right, Crazy Ronnie Beach. I forgot. I thought you beat him.
Took
No,
me out
you
at
actually-
Frogtown last year in the bar, at my bar. He took me out in the first turn.
Oh, we're going to talk about that. We're absolutely going to talk about
He didn't
that.
really
Second
take
time
me
he's
out in the
taking you-
turn. He kind of rode me high, and
Well, at
you
my
know.
bar, he rode you low. So we'll talk about that.
he did me low there.
Well, and I have one more bullet to add to your resume.
The
And
first
that's
one you got wrong.
but that
though,
race is
so-
good because that was wasn't that your first big win too?
Hey, it's not about me. Nobody cares about me. This is about you,
I
Huff.
do.
Hey,
roomie.
so what? I got one more. Yeah, well, I got two more.
Oh,
Number one, the bullet is resident of Rod Beckring's grandma's house
Hattie, yep, it was Guyby.
with Steve Giberson. Going to talk about that.
Amazing.
And former roommate of Bill Galloway,
Oh yeah.
and at the same time roommate with Mike Miranda.
Oh yeah.
That's right. We lived
wow.
together for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wished you lived there longer, Huff. You should have dumped that girl.
Yeah, right. I should have. Would have found a different one that would have been better.
But we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
My God.
Oh yeah. I just say this, that we had this inflatable doll that used to go from room to room to room. And you never know, you'd bring a girl home or something, you'd never know where that rubber doll would be. It'd be in the shower, it'd be under your sheets, it'd be in your closet. It was just, you never knew where that thing was going to end up, but it would always be at the most awkward time that doll would show up.
Yeah.
Loved it. Yeah, anyway, Huff,
Crazy.
great to have you on, brother. Great to
Yeah,
have you
I'm
on.
an honor. I'm an honorary dirty knob for an hour and a half.
No, you're an honorary dirty knob for the rest of your life now.
Right.
You know, I was
That's
trying to
right.
think of when we met, Huff, the first time I met you. And I have a pretty good idea as to when that was. There was the Triple Crown. Was it called Centurion Triple Crown, or what was it? The
Centurion Grand Prix? No,
Cen-
because I didn't go to that actually, even though we're doing something with that brand or whatever now. But
what
no,
was it?
it
Where they
was
had the
at
three
some
races.
some UBR race. That because you and Andy Zerzo used to travel.
Yeah,
just
we
the two of
we
them
came up to the race. It was I think
in Placerville.
Auburn
And
to
you hung
win.
out
It was
at-
Auburn the first night, then Placerville. No, it was Placerville and then Grass Valley.
Yeah, I only remember you distinctly. You guys went to the Lions field track with us, just me and some local guys riding.
Oh,
when it
that's
was in the rain,
right.
just doing jumps.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and it was you and Andy. You know, but
That's
I'd
right.
met you before. I mean, that's kind of why you hung out with us because I'd met you before. It had been at some UBR race for sure.
Yeah, it was UBR race. I thought it was the Triple Crown
Yep.
of when we raced Roseville, Auburn, Roseville, and Grass Valley.
That's the Centurion Grand Prix.
Yeah, that's where I thought we met the first time.
No, that was a couple of years before. But I know you guys brought me a saber plate.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And you know what? That thing was not easy to travel with because it was huge.
Yeah, you needed like an extra car carrier to put it on because it stuck out so far.
Well, no, we actually bolted it to the front of the car to get better gas mileage because it was, it was aerodynamic.
That's
Cover
where
the front
that's where
door.
Elon got the idea for the Cybertruck.
That's
Look at
right.
that saber plate.
Exactly. Should have patented that.
He wanted to call it a saber truck, but they had the number plate was already done.
That's great. Oh, he's, in my opinion, the ugliest number plate ever.
Yeah.
Any arguments by anyone? No, I didn't think so.
I don't
No
think
arguments.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Andy Zirzo used to push his flat against the bars, and Roger, the owner of CW, would yell at him,
Would he cut
"Andy,
the,
you're
the
defeating the purpose."
would he cut the bottom
Yeah, he just cut the bottom off and made it flat. Just
Yeah.
made it flat.
Like a regular
then-
plate.
So then Tracer and I didn't cut the bottom, or we would heat the bottom up and bend it backwards.
I don't
we-
know what's
we-
wrong with it, Roger. It just keeps folding back there.
Yeah.
There was
Man, I
enough
just go-
plastic. You could have put it all the way back behind your bars by the stem and curled it up and made like cup holders.
Dude, you could have cut those, the two big tabs, you could have cut them off and used them as side plates. God, there was a lot of plastic on there.
That's how Toby came up with the Seika plates from
That's right. That's right.
harvesting saber plates.
Holy moly.
Hey, hey, Huff, I got to ask you, man. You know, back in the day, and I'm sure you guys know about this. There was a big, huge rivalry, and in my opinion, there still is, between SoCal and NoCal, as I call it. You know,
No.
Northern California and Southern California always had this big rivalry, and I always, you know, we always thought, as you know, you were different though, because you were. I just think that because you were so far east, you were so far
that's
east
right.
in Northern California that it seemed like, I don't know, you like a neutral ground.
Yeah, it's weird you mentioned that because those foothills up there, it was kind of like we were like our own deal, right? And we didn't really get sucked into that whole Bay Area. That's where really the Nor Cal, SoCal thing. All the attitude came out of the guys, the fast guys in the Bay Area, right? You know, all those the boss guys and the Pattersons and all that whole crew, because they could live up to we're just up there in the foothills, hillbillies, you know, trying to you know,
Drinking the well water and
win practice. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
When practice.
when cutting down trees and panning for gold and racing on the
Yeah.
weekends. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
It just seemed
Where
different.
did they see you guys? How did the North Cal guys see you?
We went up to this.
As-
Oh yeah,
Did they see you as part of them or no?
No, they I don't know if they really paid attention. I think they were surprised occasionally when we got in there
Huh.
for a good result, you know. I mean, we didn't really light up the main events all the time, you know, so it was just kind of oh wow, one of the hillbillies made it into the main, you know.
well, didn't you guys were up in snow country, right?
Well, we're right there. Placerville's right there at the line, you know, it's like right there at almost 2,000 feet. So we have some snow once in a while.
And who else came up from up there? Huff? Oh, big list,
Area,
huh?
not many, hardly nobody from El Dorado County, that whole area. That's kind of why I'm trying to live my glory days a little bit, you know, by saying I was the
Yeah.
only guy, you know. So it was weird, you know. So I mean, because everybody was down in the valley, you know,
Is that what you called it?
the valley. Yeah, so they call it Sacramento, Modesto, you know, all the way over the hills to Vallejo, where the Anderson brothers ruled the roost, you know. So
It's funny. We always thought of, at least in my mind and amongst our friends, it was, you know, there were there were two separate groups in NorCal. There was the guys that went to the dentist, the Patterson brothers, John Cruz, Scott Clark, the kind of the clean cut guys.
careful.
And and then there was the other half, you know, the other guys, the guys from the wrong side of the tracks, the Andersons, Ronnie Anderson, Bob Madrano, RC Alderman. Don't get me wrong, I was great friends with RC and Bob Madrano. Love those guys. But they were kind of when the boss van would roll into the pit, into the pits, and they'd open the doors, it was like the scene out of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and just smoke would come out of the van.
Rough on the
Thomas Ingram.
Oh, Thomas T. Tucker, my man. That was just a JJ, crazy JJ.
Oh yeah.
That whole scene, it was like I said, it was a scene out of this, Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Actually, crazy JJ, he kind of came from the Sacramento area, so he was one of the fast guys in that area, So
when did that NorCal SoCal thing actually start?
Oh, dude.
Brent
70,
Patterson,
yeah.
or John Wells, one of our Nor Cal BMX Hall of Fame inductees this year. I mean, he was kind of the first guy, from what I've learned, because it was before my time, who traveled to SoCal and raced, Stu and Clinton, and he was before Brent Patterson.
Wow.
As far as a legend guy.
And the same thing from the get-go, it was a rivalry. I mean, who's this Northern California guy? Why is he coming down here and going fast? It was And then
Well,
Brett,
and those guys, and I've learned this kind of in this Hall of Fame process. You know, I knew of the Merritt College track. I'd seen some pictures of it, but I've seen more pictures of it since then. And man, it's like, you know, just minus some of the cliffs, and it's a Red Bull Rampage track. You know, it was insane how steep and gnarly it was. And those guys, those Silver Shield bicycle guys, and John Wells and Fred Thomas, and those guys were sailing like the Schwinn Stingrays, you know, with dirt bike handlebars on it. You know, it was crazy.
So those guys, Wells and that crew, kind of started that trend. It was weird for me, right? Because I started racing in '78, and my parents took me up to a UBR race, maybe in Fresno, I don't know, maybe a little bit farther north.
Yep.
Fresno.
Yeah. So, I mean, I loved it. Like I actually, we didn't know what UBR was. It was this weird thing, but we actually had a great time. It was kind of weird to race. I didn't know any of the kids. So that was kind of weird, but I didn't really.
But they were hella fast.
Yeah, they were. But I think I was 8 or no, maybe I was 9, probably 9 at the time. I don't remember when I was from 9 till about 12. I don't remember Nor Cal being a thing. I remember like when I was 13, and it's maybe just me becoming more aware of it, it started to ramp up. And then for me, when I was like 14, 15, 16, when the Boss Van thing started, those guys, it feels like they revitalized that. Like they re-energized that Nor Cal thing. Did it die off a little bit, or was it?
No. I really think, yeah, those guys, I think, just accelerated it. You know, it's like they wanted to tattoo it on their forehead, and their muscles they would want to show, you know.
Yeah,
for sure. They were
Brent
proud Nor Cal. That was
Brent and Brian Patterson didn't walk around the pits with their shirts off.
Yeah.
They were promoting BMX and their team.
Yeah.
Where, you know, those other guys, the No Cal guys were like, just what a chip on their shoulder. I mean, I don't blame them. We have great weather. We had the magazines.
Yeah, that was it, right? I mean, there's a legitimate kind of beef there that you guys, Southern California, got all the attention, and they were trying to.
Well, rightfully so. We had good-looking riders like Eric and I. We had good-looking girls.
You had a lot of dentists.
We had a lot of dentists. We had, people working. We had all kinds of great things going on in Southern California. Where, I don't know what's going on up there in the Hippieville. I don't know what they were doing up there.
I actually loved the rivalry. I loved it that those guys were so prideful of it, and I loved beating them when I did. Sometimes they beat me, sometimes I beat them, but I loved especially when you would go to Nor Cal and you'd be on the gate and they'd be, you're on the gate and guys would be yelling, Nor Cal, Bull Jack, all the lingo and stuff. And it was just like, dude, I can't let these guys beat me, man. There's no way. I loved that it like added to the atmosphere. It really did.
There's more of a NorCal versus SoCal than SoCal versus NorCal, right? Like,
they're
more about
we don't really.
It's one-sided,
It's one-sided. Gotcha.
We know we're the best, so we really don't care. Everyone's just everyone's from some other place. It's not like where and I'm kidding, but when you race Orange on Wednesday night and it's a national main event. And you go on Sunday to some other local race and it's super fast and people come from all over on their vacation and they get smoked.
Yeah.
Where we could go to Northern California on tour and we would win and we would beat them. Yeah. It was different. But I will tell you this.
Yeah.
I don't remember those guys coming to our local races and winning.
Orange was a whole nother, that was a different world, dude.
Yeah.
Really, when you think about it, it was a different world, man. So, but those guys did. I mean, to answer your question, JB, we never made SoCal stickers.
Yeah.
We never had SoCal on our visor. We never had that, right? There was always NorCal on their visor, under their visor on their helmet. So it was definitely those guys had a chip on the shoulder. But dude, I will tell you, man, I think it worked for them. Like, it motivated them, and it created a little bit of sometimes you have to get mad and get angry to get motivated and get training. And I think I think those guys did a good job of like,
Dude, I saw it last year at Frogtown.
Sure,
it's still
definitely.
going at
Yeah, when
Frogtown.
it's still going, man.
I
Yeah.
hear him yell it all the time.
Yeah, when you were winning, EC, it
Yeah.
you know nothing was being said, and as soon as your legs locked up,
Yeah.
as soon as you stiffened up and legged up, as soon as you cramped and wrecked and caused other people wreck, and Terry Tennant won, dude, it was all the chirping, no camera,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, all that all over again.
Nor Cal pull.
Yep, all of that.
No, the interesting part of it was like the Pattersons were like above the fray.
Yes,
They were like their own
they went to a dentist.
thing. Well, they just took care of business. They didn't recognize.
Yeah.
They saw no boundaries, like we see no color, they saw no.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not entirely true. When you hear Brent and Stuart talk, when Brent Patterson and Stu Thompson talk about the old times, there definitely was a rivalry.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
they
yeah,
just
no,
kept
for
it
sure.
clean. It wasn't as much chatter about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they just didn't.
Oh.
They just didn't engage in that. I think the Pattersons were, I'm not going to win for NorCal. I'm going to win for myself.
I'm going
Yeah.
to win for the Patterson team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to win for the Patterson team.
Yeah, no, for sure.
JV, was there a New York, New Jersey rivalry?
No,
Was there any?
not
No.
like that. Not even North Jersey and South Jersey. Yeah, it wasn't like, not like what you guys have. Not at all.
That's crazy.
And I'd like to say
North
have.
Florida and South Florida. I don't think they were even like that.
I don't know of anywhere else that has this.
Well,
Honestly.
I think the rivalry really kind of blew up like in the early mid 80s is like when it like really gained some steam. And by then I was kind of already out of it and in the industry. I was an industry guy then,
Oh, I disagree. I think I started in the 70s. And I don't think it's died yet. Not and Frogtown is exact. It proves it once again. It has
It's
not
still
died.
going, yeah. But
Yeah.
I think I mean, like to speak to what you're saying, Todd. For me, yeah, like 84, 85, and then 86, 87, those years, man, it seemed like like it was just like you said, they accelerated it, and it was Cecil and Terry, even Mayday would get involved with that. I mean,
Darwin.
those guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How many?
And by then Ronnie Anderson was in his zone, right? So,
Yes.
and he's the biggest voice in the room, right?
Yes.
And proud NorCal guy. That
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I loved it, man. I didn't get I had some SoCal friends that would get mad, and the NorCal guys would get like mad too, man. I thought it was funny, and like I didn't take it personal, like
Yeah.
I didn't care where you lived.
Business.
Yeah, I just
Richie
wanted-
wasn't like that, right?
No, Richie wasn't like that. He was
Yeah.
he was groomed by Vance and Brian and Brent.
Right.
Don Cruz,
Yeah.
It
was a-
gentler NorCal.
Yeah.
He was. Richie was just about
Went to like
handling-
finishing school.
Dude,
Yeah.
it was NorCal light.
Yes.
NorCal.
Richie was just about handling his business, dude, and winning races, man.
That's really
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Well,
really about it.
when you're nicknamed the Avalanche, you don't need to tattoo something on underneath your visor or
Exactly.
your forehead, right? You just go take care of business.
Yeah.
Dude, that kid took care of business.
Yeah. Jesus.
When he was 13, 12, 13, 14, that kid took care of business.
No, I mean,
I remember I was like 14 at the Delta at Stockton, the NBA track, Delta 88 track. And they had this big starting hill and I got waxed. I forget, I was like an intermediate or something then, but I remember these two local kids that were going backwards or riding backwards. Let's see. Yeah, they were going backwards on the track up the starting hill and just sailing the backside down the ramp, staging area. And it was like one was like 9 and the other was like 12, these two brothers. And it was Ronnie and Richie Anderson. And it was like, wow, these kids are insane, and they were like years younger than me. And I'm like, wow, look at these guys. They're like,
it's cool when you see kids like that, right? and like, dude, they're going to be something special.
Yeah.
You see kids like that at,
Oh yeah.
and they were, gosh, man, those guys were
crazy. I
amazing.
remember it was like one of the ABA grands when they had the whoops that were like off center. You remember that? They were like
Yeah.
this and
Yeah.
that. And I saw Richie just manual the thing, just and that was before like anyone was doing. I was like, what the fuck just happened? What the hell was that?
What did I just
Yeah.
see?
It's almost like in semi-pro when the guy dunks it and they're like, what? Is that legal?
I said it before on our podcast maybe on a different episode, but I remember the first time I saw Richie, dude, I made my mom stop the van, and it was at the Anaheim Convention Center race.
Oh,
And he was riding through the parking lot, and we were driving this way, and he was just, I don't know if he was doing sprints or whatever, and he like pulled up and was doing this like pedal manual wheelie thing, and then like he bunny hopped the parking curb while he was doing it, and I remember he had that, like Patterson had that, it was like a
entry.
Yeah, the color was like it was a unique color. It was like a mustardy yellow color.
Yeah.
And I remember
Maybe shit yellow.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly right.
But I remember seeing him ride by, and I had my mom, oh my God, and she stopped the van, and I watched him right away. I was like, my God, like, I was blown away, dude.
And think about, I remember Richie, even as a small kid, running his front chainring, he running these big gears,
Yeah. And I grew up in SoCal, so I had Pistol and all kinds of guys.
Yeah.
that were super fast factory riders, like I was 10 at that race. There was all kinds of fast factory guys that I grew up around, but like when Richie came through and ran through the parking lot, I was like, oh my goodness, there he is. It was crazy, dude. Still
That's
remember.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
I
cool.
mean, there's not many sports, when you think of it, not many sports that a young, celebrity rider, has that effect on a fellow competitor in that same sport. You try to think of one.
Yeah.
What you experience seeing a kid like Richie Anderson ride by.
Yeah.
Motocross, no, not really. I mean, maybe if you went to Loretta's or something and years ago and go, oh, that's Danger Boy Deegan or something, but really it doesn't happen, So
You're so right.
Yeah.
Even older people, right? Adults, older riders, whatever, would go, holy crap, that's
Yeah.
Richie Anderson.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
For
I
11,
remember the SE van, the tan van, or
Yeah.
the white van back in the old days,
Oh yeah.
coming to Corona Raceway and the doors opening. And by the way, it was like a Spicoli back then too.
It was
But the
pretty
doors
wild.
opening, and all the team riders coming out, and Bubba Harris, Bubba Hayes on his inch and 3/8.
Yeah.
An older guy, but on inch and 3/8.
Yeah.
And, all the guys coming out and all super fast. And it was the same thing. It didn't matter how old they were. You looked up to them because they were on SE.
Yeah.
And they were, it was a traveling team that made an impression. They were probably as close to a Nor Cal team as we had was the SE team.
No, yeah, it's an interesting observation, right?
Yeah.
Kind of the bad boy crazy, what are those guys going to do? They had, I don't know, personally, I think, no offense, Mike, and you guys, you CW guys, but the SE uniforms in the early 80s were about as cool as you could be proud to wear.
Listen,
the brown and blue and the light blue and the tan, and
we were SE with a coupe.
Cool.
Yeah, CW was SE with a coupon. we were like the low budge SE. We thought you guys were on a shoot. We thought, oh, SE, oh man, that's the factory team.
Yeah.
They probably get their jerseys for free. We get a discount. It was you guys were factory. We're at CW. It wasn't quite all that, but we were happy to be on the team. But we always looked up to, like to us, SE was, when before you get in the business and you don't know the details, you don't know what goes on behind the curtains.
Yeah.
You have these ideas, these things that are sitting in your mind from reading magazines, and you think SE is such, it's a huge, gigantic company, and they have a bus,
Yep.
You don't hear about, it's later on in life you find out, oh, that bus never ran. That bus broke down nobody wanted to be on the bus because it broke down all the time.
First-hand knowledge.
It is true though, when you think about it, Mike, and like it's a testament to the BMX Plus, and even more so, I'll say
Yeah.
action. Because
The
man,
media.
when we had Oz on, we discussed it, but it really, really painted a story, and he was a storyteller, and that was what he conveyed to us, that it was the factory bus coming to a town near you, man, and you were like, dude, they have a bus. Rock stars have buses.
Dude, and the bus pulled up and smoke came out of the windows and some local mom fell out of the back door, and it was just a big deal. It was a big deal. And
Well,
and
the
then
smoke came out of the windows, but also came out of the engine compartment and out of the sides, out of the valve covers, and the leaking radiator hoses.
dude, you were in the thick of it, man. You were on the SE team. You were in the thick of it.
Yeah, that summer of '82, that was it. At least for me, that was the big bus trip, right? So,
the big tour.
I had just moved down to LA, right, in March, and there was a War of the Stars event. You guys were probably both there at the Long Beach, right next to the arena, right where the whales are painted on the sign.
Yeah,
back there, right next to the lagoon and everything along Shoreline Drive. There, it was really cool.
Yeah.
I made the Pro Open main there. I remember, and I got like 5th. I thought that was pretty cool, so but I just moved down and then went to work for Scott and SE, and the big project was we're going to get the bus on the road to the Murray World Cup.
Because all of you guys were absolutely certified pro mechanics. You are all
Well, and the bus had been sitting behind SE in Signal Hill, behind by this where the strip club was, in the vacant lot, right, collecting dust and weeds and whatever for like 5 years since the last tour that Bob Harlow and all those guys were on, Greg Hill.
Since the last time it broke down, it had to be
broke
towed.
down. It was towed there and left there, right? And so Scott wanted to get ready to go to the Murray World Cup in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it was really an all hands on deck deal. And Dave Roberts, the in-house artist guy, he painted the camouflage stuff on it. They spent all the time making it cool looking, right? Mm-hmm. Not worrying about all the rats and mice that had chewed up the wiring and stuff for 6 years in the vacant lot and the hoses and everything, right? Nope. Put a new battery in it, drain the gas tank. Oh, it started. We're leaving the next day to Knoxville, that kind of a thing. Oz is showing up to take pictures out of his Porsche of us going down the freeway. And that's that day we're gone, right?
And who is on that trip? Who's on that trip, Huff?
Wow.
Me, Rod, Lonnie Tatton,
Hold on, Rod Beckering,
Lonnie Tatton, Bubba Hayes, Perry Kramer, EK, Dwayne Ballinger, right? And then who else was on that? Stevie Hayes, Bubba's little brother. These parents that they would let their kids go with us is just amazing.
If they only knew. If they only knew.
Yeah. And then we had one of our New Zealand riders, Colin and Barry. I can't remember their last name. Colin Myers. I don't know. And then our Australian team manager for the SE team in Australia. And he brought this little girl, like Tracy was like 10 or 11, and she was on the bus.
Oh right? My gosh.
Yeah.
Seriously. Those are all the people that are in the picture when you see the bus going down the freeway and everybody hanging out. That's the crew, right? And
wow.
That was the last breath of fresh air they got on that bus.
And it's amazing. Scott and Mike, they spent all the time and money making the bus cool, painting it and making like a little motor home and putting a little toilet in there and the seating, and because the bus originally just had seats like a school bus, right? But like they made like a little motor home inside.
They were early to the van life.
Oh yeah, but they did nothing with the mechanics of the bus.
But you need an engine.
No, that's alternator, schmalternator.
Yeah,
Stevie
Put
Hayes,
air in the tires. It'll be
man,
fun.
that's where yeah, I don't know how much
Stevie
time I
Hayes
have,
was
but
10 at the time. He was probably 10.
who?
Stevie Hayes, because
Oh yeah,
that was 82. He was a couple years younger than me. Lonnie and I raced. He was a little bit older, so Lonnie
Yeah, I'm
was
sorry, I can't understand you with food in your mouth. I'm sorry, Mrs. Carter. Don't text me tomorrow.
Lonnie was
So-
12 or 13.
a little related, but not a bus related. But it's a little kids, Stevie Hayes, Lonnie Tatton story, Rod Beckering van. So
Wow.
Scott would let us, Rod and I take the van and go to some Northern Cal because I was chasing UBR pro points or whatever, right? And we would take the van up there, and Bubba would come with us, and Stevie and Lonnie, and the way you loaded the bus, it had like a seat behind the the driver and the it had like a bench seat, and then you would stack all the bikes, like like this, in it, right? And to sleep, and some bikes would end up in the kids had to, let's see, I'm trying to think, but someone would end up, you'd throw a blanket, like a sleeping bag, over the upside down chain rings and sprockets and stuff. And a kid could sleep up there. It was like a bunk bed on top of where the crank, the bottom of the chain ring between the forks, a small body would like fit in there really cozy with like a sleeping bag.
You guys were coyotes.
But wouldn't the sprocket get in the way?
No, because you're kind of cuddled in between the front wheel and the sprocket.
Yeah, that's what they told the little kid when they threw him up there. No, you fit right in there. It's perfect. Yeah.
This one time, we're coming back from a race, and me and Rod's driving, and we're just hauling ass down I-5 in the middle of the night, right?
And Rod's 17.
He's 17. 16. He's 17.
16, 17. Okay.
Yeah.
Driving a bus.
Guyby, myself, Rod, and Dwayne were all 2 years apart, right? And we all hung out, right? And Rod's 17 driving, and it's late at night coming home from a UBR race, and the kids are all sleeping, right? And someone's up on top, and there's someone on the bench seat, and someone's on the floor, right? And Rod looks over at me, and he goes, "Huff, hang on, brace yourself," right? And I hit the brakes. He slams on the brakes so hard on the 5 freeway, just full stop of the van, and all the kids on the top of the sleeping bag fell on the second guy, and it's just a big pile of kids on the floor. Just tortured them. We would torture those kids.
He thought it was the funniest thing ever, too.
Dude.
Lonnie Tatton smoked pot for the first time on the bus trip. He was 12,
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was brutal. We were in Flagstaff, Arizona, and Lonnie was so high, he was eating a sandwich, and Bubba and Rod were just giving him grief because he's like, "Hey, Lonnie, can I have a bite of your sandwich?" And he could not get enough of the sandwich in his mouth, and it's like peanut butter and jelly. He's like, "No, this is my sandwich." He had the money so bad, he just, poor kid. Rest in peace, Lonnie.
Oh, rest in peace, Lonnie. Oh, what a great
Yeah,
family.
the bus was quite a deal. So it broke down, I don't know, 30 times in 2 weeks.
On that trip?
Within the 2 weeks that I was
Oh,
on it 30 times. I
wow.
have a picture that I took of Jeff Davis, Dwayne Ballinger, and Joe Licklider holding a sign that says breakdown number 27.
Oh my gosh.
Hey.
And they're by the back of the bus, and the bus, the engine doors are open and smoke's coming out of it, right? And you can see Perry and the Australian Peter, the Australian team manager. All you see is their backs because they're in the engine compartment, right? And it said breakdown 27.
So the goal was the Murray World Cup in Knoxville, which I was at. And we were all, where are they? Where are they? Because we knew you guys were coming. Where are they? Dude, you have to tell the pillowcase massacre story.
Hey, hold the gate, Mr. Starter. We're going to take a short break and play a few new commercials. We're also going to tell you that we're going to announce the dates to the Dirty Fest 3. Oh, that's going to come out August the 2nd, Friday night. We're going to drop the bomb, let you guys know when, where, all the details for Dirty Fest 3. Finally, hey man, subscribe, like, do all that business. helps us out. Yeah, buddy. Enjoy the rest of the show. Make sure you stick around for the outtakes at the very end. Tell him, JV.
Hey, Dirty Knob fans around the world. Listen, John Salami here. I got humongous news for you guys. If you're a fan of Dirty Fest and you're a fan of Frogtown, well, I got news for you guys. You need to head over October 5th to New Jersey. I am going to organize the greatest festival on the East Coast. It's going to be at Central Jersey BMX in Howell. It's going to be a festival for the Northeast. Come on down, New York, Rhode Island, bring your accents, Connecticut, come on up from Virginia, bring your accent too. Listen, guys, it's going to be enormous. It is the Northeast Vintage BMX Festival, Central Jersey BMX in Howell. You guys have been to Howell. You know how to get there. I'm going to tell you, it's 2449 US 9 Highway in Howell. Okay. What's going on in the festival? Well, it's going to be awesome. We got autograph session with all our inductees. We have an exhibitors row. We have a foot down competition. We have a vintage BMX show, and we have a clinic. What are you going to? Well, we're going to bring old school guys and bring them on. Jason Richardson has committed to it. We're going to bring these guys on to show the new school guys a couple of things, maybe clip out, take them out, whatever it may be. Then what's going on after that? Well, it starts at 9, but about 5 o'clock when it's over, you're going to say that was an epic event, East Coast. Let's do it again. But we're going to all head over to the New Jersey BMX Hall of Fame. That's going to happen at the Battleground Country Club. The Battleground Country Club is located at 1 Coverhoven Road in Manalapan. Now, you might say, what's going on there? Well, if you were a pioneer and you were an old school guy from any part of the Northeast, I guarantee you want to come support this. We got superstars going into this Hall of Fame. We got inductees like Rich Farside, Sal Zuner, Jared Justice, Mark Lopez. So all these guys are going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. We got special guests at the Hall of Fame, like that guy, Hollywood Mike Miranda. So, and I was told last night that somebody else, and I have not told Mike, and I will not tell Mike, is going to fly out as a special guest. Mike's going to be blown away when he sees him. Anyway, nor here nor there. So what is going on again, guys? Here's what's going on. October 5th, 2024, Central Jersey BMX in Howell, the Northeast Vintage BMX Festival. Now, after that, come on, everybody, let's head over and go to the first ever inaugural New Jersey BMX Hall of Fame. How do I go to these events? Well, it's easy. The spectators are free. If you go to the festival, you can mingle with all your old buddies. And then when you head over, make sure you have a ticket. Tickets are for the banquet. It's a full course meal, $90 a plate. People have been asking, how do we get tables? I can get a table. Yeah, it's just like going to a prom. You meet all your buddies, you head over to the table. There'll be plenty of tables for everyone. Here's what we do. This is very important. If you want to go to the banquet, you can Zelle to the following number, 772-521-2348. That's how you get your tickets. Tickets are going fast. We got to get our numbers up. We got to tell them, hey, this is how many people are coming. So it's important that you act now. Okay, one more time. How do I go to these events? Drive to Howell. Drive to Central Jersey BMX like you did when you were 12. Get out of your car. See everybody you haven't seen in 35 years. You get to see Mike. You get to see other special guests. You can participate in all our events. If you don't want to, hang out with your friends. It's okay. But if you're an inductee, you're going to have an autograph session. You're going to sign the poster for the event, grab a T-shirt for the event. And then when it's all done, don't forget, head over to the New Jersey BMX Hall of Fame. It's the first one ever at Battleground Country Club. So act now. Get $90 of your hard-earned money. Go to Zelle, 772-521-2348, and get your tickets. Guys, don't miss this. It's going to be awesome. So, guys, if you want any information about any of these events and things going on, if you want to check in with what's going on with Mike or anybody around the country with their events, you can go to the BMX Legends Society page on Facebook and New Jersey BMX Hall of Fame Facebook page. You'll have all the information for all the events going around, not just mine, but everybody else's. So that's a good information source for all you guys.
Our mission is to grow the sport at the local level. We've reached out to TOs across the country to say, what is your need to better reach new riders, both young and old? And we've put a financial number to that to make it easier for sponsors and donors to jump in and say, I got this one. You can check out our website, bmxbreakthrough.com. Reach out to me directly, j@bmxbreakthrough.com. We've got our social media at BMX Breakthrough. We've got the podcast as well. Thank you so much for your support, and let's get more kids and adults on bikes.
Guys, you're watching the Dirty Knob Podcast with Mike Miranda, Eric Carter, Jim Vicente. What the heck? Are you enjoying the show? Well, hey, take a minute, stop, pause, go to your computer, torquerracing.com. You know what you want to do, torquerracing.com. Check it out. You're going to check out the new Pro X frames. You're going to check out the EK frames. You're going to check out the Barbarians. You're going to see the new Torquer shirts. You're going to see the pads. You're going to see all the new stuff. Go to torquerracing.com.
All right, Dirty Fest fans, get ready. September 27th through the 29th of this year, 2024, we'll be honoring Brian Blyther, Ron Wilkerson, and Dave Norrie at the Old School BMX reunion at Woodward West, Tehachapi, California. That's my dog Coco barking in the back, and we got Harley over here also. But the Old School BMX reunion is what, Brian?
It is the oldest running annual BMX event that is going on. It lasts longer than my marriage and most marriages out there.
That's right,
So,
14
long
years. 14 years. So anyways, Mike Miranda was kind enough to allow us to have some freestyle at the Dirty Fest #2. This is going to be our 14th annual OSBMXR. We've honored people like Bob Harrow, Mike Buff, R.L. Osborne, oh, you name it, Mike Dominguez, Eddie Fiola. Now we're going to be honoring Brian Blyther. We're going to be giving away Oakley grips. Come on down. You got to come and see us. Go to our website at www.osbmxr.com and sign up now.
Woodward, lots of bowls, lots of ramps, lots of dirt jumps.
And just so you know,
fun stuff to do.
We're freestylers, not racers. So it's not going to be come in your cleanest, nicest bikes. We're going to be drinking some beers. Right, Brian?
Sure.
There we go. Woo! Woo! See you at the Old School reunion.
Yes, we will.
Dude, you have to tell the pillowcase massacre story. You have to. Dude, you guys don't know the story. I do because I was there when they got there.
Yeah. This is why you guys call the show the Dirty Knobs.
This is exactly why we call the show the Dirty Knobs.
Yeah, when you originally conceived the show, this is kind of the stories I thought you would have on the show.
I got to tell you, when I thought of this
one
show,
of the finer moments in comedy cinema history someday when I make my movie about the bus tour. So,
all right, you gonna tell?
You
the
ready?
story?
Yep, we're ready, Huff.
Yeah.
Give us the
Hey,
pillowcase massacre story.
So it starts outside of Memphis, Tennessee, east of Memphis on a day, and we're now a day before practice. Oh, I think we're a day before the race is supposed to start. So we kind of missed, if there was a formal practice day the day before, we're going to miss that, right? And the bus breaks down, finally gives up the ghost.
This is breakdown number 30.
Oh, yeah, more than that, but anyhow, so we're in Memphis, Tennessee, and we're stranded on the side of the road, the highway, and this really uniquely shaped radiator hose had given up, right? And it was like, it wasn't like accordion hose, you get it Chief Auto Parts, right? Just like that one side. It was like big like this at one end, and it snaked around and did this, and it was all formed, and it was this big at the other end, like custom made for this bus, right? Wow. And so we're broke down, and we're like, how are we going to fix this thing? Well, right next to where we broke down was a bus graveyard in Tennessee, right? But we're in Tennessee, right? And no way are we going to go over there. If a guy come out with a shotgun or something, right? And go looking for parts for the bus. Come on. So Rod and Dwight Lowell, meanwhile, Perry and Peter are trying to fashion a hose out of bicycle inner tube shoved inside a beer can. So it would give it some structure, an aluminum can, right?
Holy.
To try to make that work, right? Meanwhile, Rod and Dwight Lowell had rode into town. Oh, before that happened, we're pissed now because Scott put us on this piece of shit, right? And he's flying to the race, right? And we're barely going to make the race. Meanwhile, so when we're on the side of the road, who comes by but fucking Squeaky from Squeaky Rocks BMX?
Now, if you guys don't know who Squeaky, we have to go back up. Let me get this one.
Yeah, you remember.
JV, do you know, remember who's? Oh, dude,
I don't think so. No.
On the NBL circuit, only on the East Coast. I think they were from Michigan, but there was a band, a BMX band called Squeaky Rocks BMX, and it was in the heyday of hair bands. And Squeaky would play like intermission, before the mains or Saturday night between the two nationals. Squeaky would get up there and he would sing these BMX songs, heavy metal BMX songs, like, yeah, jamming down the freeway, chain came off and I did an endo, just some crazy ass shit that if you listen to it over and over, you'd want to. It inspired school shooters. It was just, it was not, it was
somewhere on the internet that a mixtape is going to pop up of Squeaky because he was selling cassettes or something at the races too.
Yeah. Just close your eyes and imagine you're going to an Indian casino and you're seeing a hair band and they're singing about BMX. That's Squeaky Rocks BMX.
All right.
Yeah. And he kind of had long curly hair and was kind of like
oh yeah, it was Kiss,
between like Ronnie James Dio and Steve Perry or something.
No, imagine it was Kiss without the makeup.
Yeah, right.
That's what it was. It was Kiss without the makeup. It was Kiss with bike grease on them. All right, go ahead. So you're on the side of the road,
and he takes a picture, and it's all of us given, and he's supposed to give it. I don't know if he had a Polaroid or somehow give it to Scott. This picture, and it's basically we all are BA and Scott, and someone is whipping Rod with a broken fan belt from the bus, right? Like, because he's going to be way ahead of us, right? Like, you give that picture to Scott, right? So anyhow, so they get back, and I forget the bus gets going again, and I think Rod and those guys are able to get someone to come back that fixes the bus, right? It gets going again, and so we're going through Memphis, and it's nighttime. And we're still 90 miles. I know it was 90 miles, I'll never forget it, west of Nashville, right? And Knoxville is on the other side of the state where the race is. And you cross the time zone also, right? So you lose an hour, right?
Absolutely.
So the next thing I know, we're falling asleep, we're dead tired, whatever. And then I wake up to the sound of the familiar emergency flashers. Click, 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 right? And Joe Licklider, the team manager, because I'm kind of I don't know why, because I work at the SE, so we were the two employees for the company, but somehow I thought I was more responsible than Perry, or Perry's the star, so we don't want to, like make him not get any sleep. So Joe wakes me up and says, Todd, you have to go into, the bus broke down again. Oh, meanwhile, Dwayne Ballinger was driving when the bus broke down.
And he's how old at the time? 15.
Right? And the bus had
been smoking pot for 4 years already.
Well, and to drive the bus, it had like 90 degrees worth of play in the steering wheel before it did anything. So you really kind of had to suck and jive to kind of keep it going straight, right? You kind of had to get in a groove. There was like a rhythm to drive. So Joe says, Todd, you have to go into Nashville and rent. The bus is done. It's it. It's given up the ghost, right? We ain't going to get to the race in the bus.
No, breakdown 33 was the magic number.
It was done, yeah. And he says, you have to go into town and rent a U-Haul and come back and get the riders. And by that time, we'd already dropped Bubba off and Lonnie Tatton off.
You're like giving them the people.
Oh,
the way.
We were putting them on airplanes so they could get to the pros. Okay. The pro stuff was later. Bubba was going to miss out on some qualifying, and Lonnie and whatever. So all the little kids were gone, right? Except for some reason, Peter and the little Australian girl, right? They were still with us. And so I had to go in the middle of the night into Nashville, ride with two strangers that had pulled over to help. I rode with two strangers into Nashville to rent one of those little Ford Courier U-Haul trucks.
Wow.
It was a Ford Courier, so that's a mini truck.
Yep.
With a box on the back.
On
The box is not connected to the cab in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't even fit up against the cab, right? So it's also, you can't even bang on the box to get the tension, and it's locked from the outside, right? And it's dark, right? So I rent this U-Haul and drive it back west and pull up to the bus, and it only goes 55. It's got a governor on it, right? So you get hit at 54, 56, 55, right? So we pull up the bus. Perry gets in the front. He's driving. They put Tracy, the little girl with the team manager, Peter, in the front seat. They put me and Rod and Dwight Lowell. That's all that's left. Dwayne Ballinger is going to stay behind with Joe in the bus.
He won the coin toss.
So it's me and Rod and Dwight Lowell, all the bikes, gear bags, everything. They lock the door, pitch black.
Oh my gosh.
The thing starts up.
You guys are coyotes.
Heading east. I shit you not, this is a true story. So we're going along and it's dark. There's not even a crack of light coming in from any gaps in the weather ceiling on the back of this thing, right? And at some point, hours later, I don't know, lost track of time. Anyhow, I hear, and I'm on like the right side, the passenger side, kind of laying down on a gear bag. And Dwight's on the other side. I know he's over there. I just can't see him. It's just dark. And then Rod is like sitting against the back door, right? Sitting up. And at some point, we're going along, and all of a sudden Rod goes, "Oh, I got to take a shit." And I'm like, don't worry, we're going to be there soon enough. No way do we know how far we are, how much further we got, nothing, right? And pretty soon he's going, "Man, I really got to go. It's bad. I'm cramping up," And I'm like,
T-10.
Like, don't do it. Don't do that. Exactly. And obviously kind of starts farting and whatever. You're trying to keep everything going, right? And at some point he says, "Fuck it. I'm going to shit in a pillowcase."
Oh no.
Yeah. And again, we don't see nothing. No one can see nothing. This is an auditory exploration, right? Everything's pitch black. And I go, "Man, don't do it." He goes, I got it. And so the next thing you just hear, and you hear a shuffling over there in the corner, and he's like maybe 3 feet away from me, because I'm laying down towards the front of the box thing, and he's like that. And it's a small box. It's not like a thing the motocross teams used to go to the box fan you'd work out.
What you're saying is this is an intimate surrounding.
Yeah, it's a Ford Courier with an ice cream truck box on the back.
Exactly.
Right. And I hear some shuffling over there, and then pretty soon it's this noise, right?
Oh my God.
Like the most loose stool cacophony of audible gems coming from the back of the thing, right?
Like the bottom of a ketchup bottle when you squeeze it.
Exactly.
Wow.
I swear.
My stomach hurts from laughing on it.
Yeah. And we have not heard from Dwight Lowell in hours over there. I don't even know if he's alive, right? But man, about 20 seconds later, I hear Dwight Lowell over the going, "Fuck." He was doing this in the dark. About then, and this is about then we're getting off the freeway. We hear the thing wind down, like we're getting off the freeway.
54, 53, 52.
Oh, yeah. And we have jumped a time zone. So we're now an hour later than we thought, right? And so we hear him driving around, Perry driving around. We're banging on the side of the insides of the thing. Plus, it's June in Tennessee. It's freaking hot, right?
It's summertime in Tennessee.
It's a hot, stinky box.
You are hot boxing.
And we finally we hear Perry stop, and all of a sudden we hear Scott, dude, where you guys been? You're gonna miss practice. Like, practice is almost over. You got it. And we're like, banging, let us out of this thing, right? And so Perry drives around and he stops somewhere, and they come and open up the back, and we come out looking like Kramer from Seinfeld, right? Like blasting out, and Rod's got his bag of tricks, his goodies.
I mean, it's got to stink.
Then he kind of walks around.
No, stink. You can't use the word stink in this. This has got to be another word for. This just can't be stink. It's way worse than that.
Yeah,
it's crime scene stink.
Oh,
oh,
and man, I made the pro open man and got fourth. So.
Oh man!
To this day, that is known as the pillowcase massacre.
Oh my God!
One of the better tour stories, right?
Oh my God, my face hurts, my eyes are watering, my stomach hurts, and it's not the first time I was there when it happened. I've heard the story a couple times. I've told it a couple times. Man, it still just kills me every time I hear it.
I can't believe you didn't puke in there.
Yeah, it was gagging bad.
No windows, nothing. I mean,
if you guys knew Dwight Lowell was a great racer, super stylish racer. Yeah. He rode for Gary Littlejohn, and then he went to SE. Yep. And dude, just super cool, mellow. Yeah, cruiser racer, super cool, mellow racer. And
perhaps
just
had the prettiest girlfriend that hung out at the races too.
Had a beautiful girlfriend.
Yeah.
His voice out of nowhere.
Yeah,
dude, in total pitch darkness.
God.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it will be a hilarious scene in the movie. I was looking for my trophy from that day, so I was going to show you.
Dude, Huff. I told JV this earlier. I go, man, Huff was one of the greatest. I mean, you were a great B pro. You were. You made all the mains. And I don't take that as a slight in any way. That's like saying, to me, if you said, hey, that guy was a fantastic 17 expert. No one takes that as, that's not slighting anyone. Dude, that guy, Bubba Hayes, awesome 15 expert.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the best 15 experts ever. And if I said, hey, Todd Huffman, you were a phenomenal B pro. It's not meant as a bad thing at all.
It's fine. I had a moment or two, flash of brilliance here and there.
Yeah. And you made a lot of you made a lot of pro open mains.
Yeah, no, I mean,
and that really says something.
Rod used to give me grief. He'd just laugh. He goes, Huff, you always win practice. You kill them guys in practice. Like, I can get on the gate with Stu and Greg and at Ascot and stuff, and just and fall apart and whatever.
Oh man, hey, I gotta throw something out for Rod Beckering. There was a guy that was just when he was a little kid, when he was 13, he was 19. He was, he was a big kid. He was a big kid, and he was really mature for his age. He cursed like a truck driver at 13, and he was, one of those guys like Robbie Morales, for a guy his size, was so nimble, so great on a mic.
Yeah.
You see guys like that he was just so good.
You would never find there will never be another BMX racer who loved BMX more than Rod Beckering. He loved this sport. Like when he kind of grew out of it, or, sponsors and SE had their problems, whatever. I mean, he was heartbroken. He just tried to stay in it so much and was always trying to race at Cold Canyon and, and he always had the most dialed bikes. Like
Always. His bikes were absolutely 100% dial.
Brakes in the industry. They
Yep.
go boom, you know, and I ran against Rod. He was 2 years younger than me, but he, terrified me most of the times because he was a pretty tough guy. He grew up in that hard area of Bellflower and that part of LA, and his dad was
a hard
freaking guy.
Russ was a hard ass biker.
Russ Beckering was a hard, Rod's dad drove car haulers from the ports. Like he transported cars to dealerships, right? And sometime he had fallen off the top of it or whatever and had damaged his arm or whatever. He lost some feeling of his arm. So his big party trick that he would do when he had some booze in him was to take and shove a headed pin in his arm and make,
because he had no feeling.
Had no feeling in it, right?
Oh shit.
So when I first moved down there, I'm just hillbilly, and Rod's got this hard ass guy for a dad, and that's why Rod was kind of hard too, right? And Rod had older siblings, older half sisters and brothers who were a lot older than him. So, he was kind of not babied, but he could do whatever he wanted in the eyes of Carol and Russ, right? He had his room was actually a whole half of their house in Bellflower. That was like it was his bedroom, his living room. He had his own bathroom. It was like his own apartment at 15,
Wow.
And so when I lived there, we would come back from Narler Park or whatever. I remember I came back and Russ had been drinking. He'd go, "Hey, Todd, you ever see me stick a pin in my arm?" And I'm like, "No." And his wife's going, "Oh, Carolina, Russ." And he would take a pin and put it on his arm. And I'm like, and then he would go,
oh,
that's it flat, right? And just drive this pin, 1.5 inches into his arm, right? And start laughing.
Shit.
Dude, I remember going over to his house to do gates. We would do gates at his house. And his dad would be in the garage drinking beer. And we'd go back in and he'd go, "Rod." Now Rod's like 13 years old. Hey kid, did you get any pussy today? Dude, that was his dad. His dad was just.
And Rod's older sister, Cindy, is beautiful, right? And she is a hairstylist in Hollywood. And she would come cut her dad's hair. And she was like, I was 19. Cindy was like 35 at the time, 36. So hot, right? And we'd come in from riding, and I'd come in their kitchen, and she's sitting there cutting his hair, and I hadn't met her yet. And Russ goes, "Hey, Todd, this is my daughter, Cindy. Cindy, this is Todd. He lives with us." I go, "Hey, nice to meet you," whatever. And he'd just say, "Hey, Todd, but you like her, huh?"
Jeez.
Right?
Dude, that's exactly who he was.
And she would slap, "Oh, Dad, he probably likes this younger girl," or whatever. She would play it off because she knows her dad, right? But we would hanging out with Rod and Guyby and Dwayne. We would be in Rod's garage all the time working on the bikes, right? And this one time, and Steve was working for Wizard Publications for BMX Action.
Steve Giberson was working for BMX Action magazine.
Yeah. And he had got this new little Chevy Isuzu truck, a pup. We called it the poop.
It was the Chevy Love.
It was a Chevy Love. And it was parked out front, and you kind of knew where Russ would park his truck, and Russ wasn't there. So we're in there working on the bikes, and we hear the truck come in, right? And we hear it go, comes around the corner, squeaky brakes, and we hear it back up. And it backs up.
Just smashing metal on metal crunching.
Yeah, it turned out not to be too bad, but it made a big sound and it looked bad, right? And because we knew where the situation was of all the vehicles in the driveway, right? And we look over at Giberson, and he just does that when he hears the sound. He went because he knows he just had his new truck just got backed into, right?
Wow.
And in comes Russ into the garage, right? And he'd been drinking, right? And there's the 3 of us or 4 of us there with Dwayne there, whatever. And Russ goes, "Hey, Steve, I just backed into your truck. big fucking deal, right?
That's just how he was, man. God, that's exactly how he was.
And then Russ just went off on him, you know. I mean, Rod went off on him. You
On his dad, yeah,
on his
but
dad.
it did not matter.
It did matter. There's a war of the roses deal. So
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh man, listen. So I got to tell the story about you and Steve Guyberson lived together
yeah,
at Rod Beckering's grandmother's house.
yeah,
Is that right?
yeah. Steve was already there, and I was with Rod and the Beckerings for a couple months. I don't know how long it was when I moved down south, and then someone left the Hattie, Russ's mom's place over in Lakewood, and so I got to. I transitioned in, right? Steve had the big bedroom, I had the little bedroom. And Hattie, yeah, that was her name. Rest her soul, nice lady. And she would always have these little church things on the weekends, and and, oh, Todd, you want some snacks and stuff? And I was just there to sleep and go to work at SC, but the highlight of that. And Steve at that time was taking pictures, right? So he was taking pictures for Wizard, but he's from Riverside and like motocross and all that stuff. So he would go to the motocross races and submit photos, right? And to the magazines, Motocross Action, Dirt Bike, whatever. And I remember we rode our BMX bikes from the house over to the Payless, because that's where they always had the new magazines, and it was on Lakewood Boulevard, South Street, whatever. And so we're going through the newsstand, and I hear Guyby go, "That's my picture. That's my picture." And he'd open up, and it was a full page picture of Mark Barnett, the bomber, at Saddleback, just doing this great shot from behind, big roost coming up the top of a turn, and it was like Steve's first published picture.
He'd had pictures in BMX Action, but it didn't mean as much to him as getting his picture in Motocross Action. Wow.
Oh, that was a big deal. Yeah, and I can.
Wow,
he went on
that's
to become
cool,
obviously a famous moto photographer. So.
Why was Grandma so accommodating for everybody to stay over there?
She just lonely old lady. She was about 1 million years old, and
just said, "Yeah, come on."
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was a little income for her. I don't know. We didn't care.
Okay.
She charged us a little bit, but it wasn't much.
Yeah.
Well, you guys talk about Orange was like the thing. Ascot was our thing at that same time. I mean,
I'm well aware.
We hung out at Ascot, right? Because you're on that side of the LA Orange County border.
I was in between her, dude. I was both.
Because I swung both ways too.
Yeah. No, I lived in Lakewood.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I was the same with you.
Hey, Lakewood Borderline Home Gardens.
That's Hawaiian Gardens.
Hawaiian Gardens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fearless at Ascot and Gnarler Park. Going to Orange was like, man, fucking Dennis Kishiyama. That
exactly.
There were guys that were so fast at Orange, and there were guys that were so fast at Ascot. There
were some fast locals at Ascot, and that was the old Ascot track. That was before it got redone for the NBL National and all that.
Oh, yeah.
That was the one with the big bonsai.
Yeah, the big bonsai into dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they made that track. They did a pretty good job putting it on like the size of a postage stamp.
Dude, yeah, it's such a small area.
The dirt was like concrete.
Those were good
and super smooth. Super smooth.
Orange kind of had that deal, right? You're on the backside of one berm was the inside of another turn.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. It was a little bit spread out a little bit more. It was definitely better lit. And man, and the dirt was a lighter color. Those are the three things I remember the most. And there were a lot more black people at Ascot. Dude, you went out there and you raced Tommy Brackens, Turnell Henry, Anthony Sewell, Charles Brackens. Holy cow. Yeah, I mean, they were just so many fast kids there that didn't race anywhere else.
No.
Just South Bay kids. South Bay kids that tore it up.
Scott,
Yeah.
Harbor. There was one other one down the street. There was 3 tracks like within
Alpine.
Alpine Village.
Yep, Alpine Village.
3 tracks within like 3 miles.
Dude, there
down
was
the same street.
Well, that's amazing.
You know what? And if you stretched them all out end to end, it would equal one track.
Oh, they were short. They were
all
all
of them.
short.
All of them, dude. This is LA where real estate is very expensive.
Oh, that makes
Dude,
sense.
they were just
Yeah.
cramming these tracks in. I mean, hey, to you, JV, Braddock was a downhill long track compared to these 3.
Oh, wow.
Bro,
None of them had a starting hill higher than your shoulder.
Alpine Village was the gate was pieces of 2x4 and plywood hammered together when it started. And the thing would like bend and fold, and it was one guy, Alan Clayton's dad, ran that place. I raced his son. His son was fast as shit, but his dad was just he was just a boozer. He was just always drinking, but he ran this track and did staging, and I believe he did scoring as well from the starting. He ran the gate. Yeah, I did.
JV, the gate, I raced there once and I swear I'd never go back. The gate was only as high, the gate went up to your axle. And if you were at the edge of the gate, it flexed so much.
Yes.
You had a half a wheel head start if you just pushed on your pedal.
So nuts.
And the
dude.
first straightaway was so short, the handle that drops, it was dropping into the first turn. The straightaway was so short. I remember you took like 4. There was no jump in the first straightaway. You took about 4 pedals and you turned.
Yeah.
It was redonkulous.
I don't know how you guys remember.
Those were some fun times though, man. Those tracks were super tight, compact, but man, they had a really the local scene was a really good local scene. Like,
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, all of the tracks, Norler Park, all of them had a local scene.
Yeah, the same. You knew that same group of people was going to be there every single night. It was
I think that might be the same
It was like
everywhere.
Ascot, Azusa, Orange, a little bit of Narler Park. We didn't race too many, but between Azusa, Ascot, and Orange, that was like
That's all you needed.
we were Harbor, Ascot, and Orange is what we did. Those were our 3 tracks.
I was any parent that was driving to a track that I could mooch a race off of.
right.
I mean, if I could mooch a ride, that's where I went.
We did. We would sprinkle in some Norco Y or an Azusa,
Yeah.
of stuff like that. But for the most part, the consistent ones for us were Harbor, Ascot, and then Orange Y. My mom really liked Ascot because all the parents would sit there in the video game. We would stay there. We'd leave there we would close the place. We would race. We'd be done racing for hours. And the parents would all sit in that lounge with all the video games in the arcade, just smoking cigarettes, bullshit, drinking beers.
Dude, and the slide cars, what were they?
Slick track.
Slick track, yeah. Slick track.
Go-kart. JV, they had these go-karts, dude. They were so bitching. First they had a Malibu Grand Prix there for a while, and then they got rid of that. And then it was just an oval go-kart track. Flat oval, super small, dude, like basketball court size.
Like the track. Wow. Everything was shrunk down.
And they took the concrete and they polished it.
Yeah.
Super smooth. And then they put baby powder on it.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like sprint cars, dude. The whole time you were driving the car.
Sideways.
All the time.
Around the corner the whole time.
Oh
the only time you straightened out is if you saw a friend in front of you.
That's right. And they were closed wheel. They didn't have open wheel, right? So they had bodies around them.
Yeah.
So you could just ram the shit out of each other, dude. Those were the best go-karts. I've never had more fun in go-karts than those go-karts.
And if you hung around long enough, you'd see Huff and Giberson tagging some ugly girl named Carrie in the back of the pickup truck.
Man.
God, it was ugly.
Oh man.
Oh.
So funny.
This is the power of editing right now.
The first girl I was with when I moved to LA, so that was a big accomplishment. So
yeah.
You were on the map. Huff was on the map. He was like, yes.
SoCal.
Yeah, SoCal.
I won.
You're right.
Movie stars, palm trees. and Guybe's and Guybe's oof. Boy.
Hey, at that time though, I told this story the other day. I was working for Scott, but you know, I had this aspirations because I wanted to be a film guy, right? And thought I'd be going to school and working for Scott to become a director or whatever. But I was also kind of a drama nerd. And I'd been up into LA, like taking pictures and all that stuff. But somehow I found that you could work driving a pedicab in Westwood. So like at the height of my BMX racing, I was on the weekends and at night, I would run a pedicab in Westwood Village.
You were pedaling a bike with people on the back. Dude, you were training.
That was training.
Right.
Getting paid to do it, right?
That's
Like,
so awesome, dude.
I'm serious. I
You
remember
give him whiplash at the traffic lights
and
when it
Westwood
turned
is
green.
like this.
Were you on your pedicab at the lights when it was red? Were you all getting all
Oh,
yeah.
no snapping.
Ow.
There's no snapping with 400 pounds of human flesh sitting behind you.
Oh my god,
No
dude.
snap.
With a tourist camera slinging off the back and
Well, and Westwood is like on a hill. You know what I mean? Down Wilshire and Westwood Boulevard down to Santa Monica. But UCLA is at the top of the hill.
yes, it is. UCLA is up at the top.
So for the most part, you would run the pedicabs kind of around the village, Westwood Village, the theaters and the bar and the restaurant like that, right? Rarely did you go up to UCLA, the college.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I would make, because you had to rent, it was like a stripper. You had to pay a stage fee, right? To get to
We
Yeah,
use.
wouldn't know
to
anything
take
about
the
that, Todd. We don't know anything about that, Todd.
So you had to kind of pay to rent it, and then you could make your own money, right? And charge whatever you wanted and whatever, you know. So, you know, net you'd make 50 bucks or like after driving the thing for 7 hours, you know. And I distinctly remember it was some big event at UCLA, and I'm cruising around, and in jumped these like 6 drunk people, you know, like 6 of them, and the pedicab just went on its suspension, just squatted, and the tires were bulging out like, and the guy goes, take us to UCLA.
Dude, Polo Jack.
Wow. And it's uphill.
Oh
Right.
my gosh.
Rohini Jack.
Yeah. Yeah. And I ground that thing out, and I took those drunk a-holes all the way up to UCLA, and I dropped them off. The guy gave me $200 bills.
Nice.
And then you won Pro Open.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Then the
Right.
next, yeah, exactly.
The next weekend you won Pro Open.
Dude,
See what happened?
How did you come across? How did you go from, because that's not even by where you lived.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
you lived
somehow, I don't know if I saw an ad in the paper. It was something when I was up there chasing Hollywood stuff. I'd run across that and saw these people, you know, doing it.
You were still
And
living in
they asked the
Lakewood, right?
question, like, hey, how do you do this? Like, I could see, no,
Yeah.
seriously, I thought of it. I could see, oh, I can make some money and get in shape too. This would be good training, you know? So
Because you were living
when
in
you're
Lakewood.
trying to, you know, go to school and work a full-time job and still think you have a BMX fledgling B Pro career, you know, so to be the best B Pro ever.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, absolutely
Hey.
top shelf B Pro. Top shelf B Pro.
Speaking of bus, so about a week after Knoxville, the Knoxville affair,
After the pillowcase massacre.
yeah, the next weekend, I think it was the next weekend, was the NBL War of the Stars at Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. Maybe it was 2 weeks later, but Lawrenceburg, Tennessee on one day, and Nashville, Tom Sawyer Park the next day. The famous
Yep.
Nashville track, right? Still to this day, Derby City National, same
Yeah.
freaking track, right? So we go to Lawrenceburg, and the Friday we go down there, and Lawrenceburg is south of Nashville. And we were staying in Nashville at the time. We went to Opryland and all that stuff. So Lawrenceburg, we took the bus, and the bus is running now. Somehow they got it fixed and whatever, it's running. So we go to Lawrenceburg, but we're there like a day. We get there Friday, the race is Saturday. So at the time, SE was doing this deal with Murray, right? And Murray was making these crappy SE bikes for him. Like Scott thought, oh, mass merchant, like we're going to be like, before the mass merchant thing was a big deal, right, Mike? You know, Hyper and all that stuff, like you guys all work for it. So he did this deal with Murray, and Murray has a factory in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. So on the Friday before the War of the Stars, we got a tour. They wanted they give us a tour, the SE guys a tour.
Of the Murray Bike Company,
A Murray Bike Factory, right? Because
which was one of the biggest factories in the world at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Huffy, Murray. They were
Yeah, absolutely.
And I remember driving to the factory. Perry's driving the bus, and he's running along this little country road out to the factory, and there's like a railroad crossing, you know, and Perry
Jumped
just punches it, right?
He jumped it
in the bus.
You know,
in the bus.
We get air. The wheels come off the ground, you know. He backsides it perfectly. But we get to the factory, and the plant is closed because I think maybe it was after hours or something. And the person giving us this tour was like telling us, yeah, the quality control of these bikes, they're always inspected. Every half hour they take one off the line, and if they find one thing wrong with it, they have to redo they have to check everything from the whole day, like a quality control thing, right? So he tells us a story, right? And there's all these Murrays, like the assembly line was stopped. You guys have been to bike factories before, right? You know, they're half made, hanging from the painters or making their...
Yeah, they're waiting their turn.
They're waiting their turn, right? Whatever, right? Half wheels, half forks on them, whatever. And so, and it's after, so the assembly line's not running. Here's Lonnie and Bubba putting fucking SE stickers, head tube stickers on all the bikes.
No.
On all the Murrays.
On the assembly line.
No.
Oh, that's awesome.
Little bastards.
That is awesome.
So at the War of the Stars, and I was pretty good then, I hole shot the main. I distinctly remember this because it has a tragic ending. I hole shot the main. I'm swaxing everybody, and I go from first to frickin' last place, and didn't fall or nothing. I just making mistakes the whole way around the track and got last place. Rod Beckering never would let me live that down.
Rest in peace, my brother. Oh
Seriously.
man, so good.
Yeah, didn't crash. No one bumped into me. No, I was racing. I was just racing, sliding out and making a dumb turn and slipping a pedal. You know, just everything went wrong, right? So the next day, though, in Nashville, crushed them at that major big race. That was not going to happen then, you know.
And redemption,
baby.
The next day, yeah. So at a famous track too, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Top Shelf B Pro.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that, man. Love that. Love that.
Adjust my camera to turn on some light.
No, I was going to ask him about Auburn because I thought
that's what I was going to do.
Oh,
I was
you
the
were
same
too?
thing. See, yeah.
I thought that's kind
either
of
that I wanted. Either that I was going to say, "Hey, JV, here's your chance."
Oh,
yeah. Go ahead.
So when I was saying about the Auburn thing, you guys founded it, or did you? Find it and distribute it, and then bought it, or okay?
It was created from scratch. It started off as an idea originally. We wanted to make our own BMX frame, and we originally thought we were going to license the Honda name and put it on a Honda, have a Honda BMX bike.
Oh.
Wow, is that why the back end was like a swing arm?
Right.
It was very much like a moto design.
Yeah. So Dale Davis, who was the artist for GT at the time, we had him. He did and I wish I could find it. He did a perfect to scale artist rendering of a bike, right? And it said Honda CR20R. And
what a great name.
With the aluminum looking rear end.
Yeah.
It had and this is the mid 80s, right? So those Hondas with the blue seats, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Old wheels. I mean, it looked like a little Elsinore or whatever, a little CR, you know, and Honda turned us down on it, right? The liability thing or whatever, on the licensing, but we still thought it was cool. And so we said, well, let's still make it. And we just had to come up with a name for it. And then we were importing some scooters from Taiwan, and our trading company had the first Auburn frame made in Taiwan. And it was a big, heavy hunk of crap, you know. And Rod Beckering raced that bike. He hung some parts on it, and he raced it at the World Cup at Irvine. like 87.
Hmm.
Okay.
Did you ride that? You rode that race probably, didn't
Yep.
you, Eric?
I was there, yeah, for sure.
Yep. And that's where I met Todd Corbett for the first time. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had the prototype. You had the prototype.
yeah, and it's a cobby thing, you know, and but we were distributing dyno stuff. So I had a close relationship with Richard and Gary. We were just one street over from them in Huntington Beach, and
From GT, right? Right. One street away.
Yeah.
One street away. So we took the thing over to Gary to say, hey, Gary, can you make this thing better? And he made another prototype, you know, in typical Gary Turner fashion. And it went through like two more editions till it settled on the final design of it, you know.
Yeah.
So,
The attachment in the back wasn't, I mean, no issues with that, like being hokey.
no, other than they were hard to put together, you know, it's kind of a pain in the ass for the
Yeah.
guy who had to put them together, you know. John Salami will tell you.
Well, Robbie Morales told us that
Mr.
his
Morales will
dad,
tell you.
his
Eric
dad
Barton
took it
was-
apart. His dad took it apart in Long Island and couldn't get it back together. He said when he pulled it off, it went foing, and he could never get it back together.
Yeah, they had some tight tolerances, to say the least, you know.
Yeah.
And the idea, you know, I mean, was it a gimmick kind of, you know, but I mean, originally the idea was we were going to offer different length rear ends, right? I mean,
Right.
Or different like front ends. It makes sense that you could add
Yeah,
a long
yeah,
front
and-
end to it.
an inch, if you could increase the rear end an inch on a particular bike, it would make a big difference, right?
Or
Yeah.
my wife will tell you, if you could increase the front end an inch, it makes a huge difference. Or Sierra.
But you
Poor
know what?
Sierra.
It never happened. Even after GT took it over, we never made we made the aluminum rear ends because that was a cool upgrade, but never in different sizes. It just never happened, you know?
Yeah, those are hard. It's hard, right? Because if you weld it at the dropout in the back, and it's off by 2 millimeters, where it bolts on, it could be off by 5 or 6 millimeters, man.
You'd be
But-
dog tracking.
Dude, yeah,
Oh yeah.
things.
Yeah.
The alignment on something like that, it would have to be.
But you know, that bike won BMX Plus Bike of the Year like 2 years in a row, right? Like,
Such a cool bike.
it was just
Yeah.
cool looking,
I
know?
mean,
never
you
rode
had
one, but-
you had it green. The green color was awesome, and then when you did green and purple, oh my gosh, so cool.
Yeah, that was kind of like we were like able to dive into those new colors and you know, at the time when Robbie was on the team with TC and Big E, you know, Danny Mulway was around for a little bit longer than he left. Him and TC didn't get along very well.
Yeah.
That was because those, you know, E team, TC
not E
and
team.
Big E on the E team, and
Uh,
Danny kind of wishing he lived in Nor Cal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, as far as lifestyle choices. And so they didn't get along very good. But when it was you know, TC and Biggie and Robbie there for Robbie's only on the team for like 1 year or something. But we had the cool little Mitsubishi shuttle, you know, you guys have seen pictures
Yeah,
of
of
it.
course. The little minivan.
We had the
Bro.
littlest team with the biggest image kind of a deal. Like that was like our thing. We tried to do what we could with a little bit of money and make it look cool, you know, the
Yeah.
shuttle, the toaster. as people
Sort
call
of
it.
like the SE version, but much smaller.
Yeah.
But yeah,
87,
it's very cool, man.
1987 Mitsubishi minivan.
Dude, you guys got on the scene quick
Yeah.
and powerful.
Jason Richardson was on the team, right?
Yeah, Jason Richardson and Nigel von Trotha and Greg Romero was on there.
Yeah.
shit, I
Yeah.
mean, you gotta sell. Yeah, you've had to sell some bikes, right? In order to.
Yeah, you know that the brand, you know, when I went to work for GT, I tell people, you know, I always, my brain was bigger than my pocketbook, you know, as far as wanting to do cool things and ads and have a big team. And, you know, being able to go to GT is like Richard's like, you know, not whatever you want to do, but like money was no object for doing cool stuff when it came to the BMX teams or the freestyle teams or whatever, you know, and so, but they always told me that, hey, we're going to build up Auburn and whatever, but you kind of got treated like a stepchild, you know? So,
Yeah.
Well, all of them did. So did Robinson. So listen,
All right.
GT was the firm, right? That was the thing. And listen, you had the biggest team. the biggest names. It was you were in charge of the powerhouse of BMX Huff. When it came to advertising, I mean, video productions, TV, all that, you were the king of the hill at the biggest part of BMX.
Yeah.
And that's really something.
Cool.
And it was very cool. And I have something to ask about that. I always wondered about this, and I've never asked you about this. During the heyday, the highest point of the sport, you had the biggest names, pros, both racers and freestylers. And I always wondered this. How much of the contract negotiations did you do?
At first, not much, right? Richard kind of did all that stuff, because he still had all those relationships with, when I got there, Greg Hill was still on Robinson, right? So
yeah, and Greg and Rich had a very tight knit. I mean, they had a tight, long term.
Yeah.
And I think kind of maybe a little bit with Gary too, but I know it was. I really interested in how you came in.
I wasn't going to touch those guys, what they were doing, right? I mean, and it probably wasn't until 4 or 5 years into it that I was actively, negotiating with Gary or Charles Townsend. That's the one I mostly remember. Gary was always easy. Just give him a raise, bump him up a little bit, bump up his bonuses, and he would sign it, right? Like he would,
and let him go win. Just let him go win.
Let the lumberjack go win. Charles, was always, his results he wasn't Gary Ellis when it came to just consistent performances and wins, but everyone loved Charles. His personality was awesome. Richard loved Gary. I loved Charles, so we always kind of found a way to work with. I think it felt like Charles Townsend was on the bubble like for 4 years but he always got re-signed, because he was just a good guy,
Yeah. Yep. And then you had on the wings, you had Danny Nelson coming in.
Well, and then Danny, so we got Bill being the team manager, right? After Root Girl got sick before the Coal Canyon National one year, and Bill had to step in, then he just took over from there. And then all of a sudden he's the manager of the team, but then he's got his own kid coming up, right? And so we need Bill for his team management prowess.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of negotiating though for his kid too. So it was always, it became a little dicey, not bad, but it was just a thing, so.
And you did the freestyle riders too.
Yep, for the most part. Oh. Yep. I don't remember any. Those are always pretty easy. They were all mainly kind of salary oriented because there wasn't like too many contests, but BMX racing, our guys would go to, 30 nationals a year, between ABA and NBL, and.
But you had Eddie Fiola, Josh White. I mean, you had
that was
Dino DeLuca.
When I came on, we had Dino and Dave Volker.
Yep. I was going to say you had the Lord.
Yeah.
And you had a ground guy. Who was that ground guy? He was really good.
Trevor
Mayer.
Trevor Meyer. And he came a little later. I think Woody recruited him, and I recruited Woody.
Yeah.
To come work for us.
That was smart.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys really had to. I mean, wow, you owned it.
That was real smart to get Woody on.
Yeah. I mean, because he's that business-minded guy, brass tacks. He was an accounting major at Long Beach State, and I don't know
and well respected in those circles.
Oh yeah, knew his stuff, and I forgot how he slept. He stayed at my house with me and TC for a while. I don't know if he'd gotten married and divorced or something, but kind of going through a weird phase in his career. Wasn't a professional freestyler anymore. That kind of deal, right? So
he had a couch. He was a professional couch surfer.
Yeah. I kind of became that, So.
Wow,
dude, you have done just about everything in BMX. Man. You like I said, top shelf B Pro, great racer. You went on to work in the industry and you crushed it, working for the biggest of the biggest. And then and now, I mean, like JV touched on, you went out after it. After that, you did some event promoting. Basically started the X Games before the X Games, which kind of brings us to now, man. You're you have, in my mind, you started a whole new trend in the sport with vintage BMX. We we do Dirty Fest. We do Dirty Fest because you do Frogtown. And we look forward to Frogtown like it's for us, Frogtown is fun. And
Right.
for Dirty Fest is work.
Work.
Tell them, JV.
Exactly.
Tell them, JV.
Exactly. It's
Hey,
work.
well, I got all three of you guys here. You know, originally when Mike was talking about you guys going to start before you did the first Dirty Fest, it was like, yeah, if we pull this thing off, we already got people asking us about doing maybe 3 or 4 more after that during the summertime and all that stuff. And I was just wondering how those plans of doing several a year.
Well, I'll tell you, Huff, it's
Get
gone
Eric
from
Carter.
it's gone from 3 or 4 people asking us to 10 or 12 people around the globe asking us.
Yeah.
And it's you know, we've refined what we do. We kind of have a pretty good idea of what the costs are and what it takes to pull it off. And you know, we're not saying we're not going to do something else, but everything would have to be just about right.
Yeah.
So we have ideas and we have conversations, but right now our focus is making sure that Dirty Fest is Dirty Fest. Just like we love going to Frogtown because Frogtown is Frogtown.
That's right.
Dude, and you know, we love hosting our party on Friday night at my bar. You know, the Dirty Knobs get together there is so much fun. And now, you know, we're going to do something new this year at Frogtown. We're going to have, just so everyone knows, the Dirty Knobs are going to have a petting zoo.
You're in the right place.
We've put together a petting zoo for Frogtown, and we're looking forward to having everyone come over and check out the petting zoo.
Is it sponsored by the Future Farmers of America? You know?
Yeah, absolutely it is. Yeah. Not young ones, though. No young ones.
4-H.
Yeah,
you know?
4-H is better. Yeah.
Or like 4 a-holes.
Exactly. Man, we are going to have a good time. Like I said, that's why we love Frogtown so much, because we get to go and actually really enjoy ourselves.
Right.
Well,
we love to see EC whooping on the Nor Cal guys until his legs lock up because he doesn't train at all.
EC, you'll be happy to know that in our BMX Action program and our 2023 recap, I make special note of Eric and Ethan Carter being the first father and son team to make a pro main event.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's really sick, man.
Yeah.
That's,
So
I know.
no, but in all seriousness, guys, like, and you've probably either felt it or people have told you, like, I tell people, you know, we created something that people didn't know they needed in their lives at this moment. Right.
So true. So true, Todd. You created something that we didn't know that we needed. All of us, our brothers and sisters in BMX, didn't know we needed it.
That's it.
But man.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's kind of that Steve Jobs thing, right? Like Steve Jobs said, we create products that people don't know they need yet.
Yeah.
In their lives, right? So
yeah.
Well, you certainly did, and man, we just love coming up there. We love being part of it, and we'll be there till the end. We'll be there to the end. It was so much fun.
Right.
You know, it's why we do it. And you know, now that there's so many other events, you know, they've got one in France. They've got the Texas Classic. There's these other ones popping up. Hey, Huff, have you thought about doing your own sanctioning body? You're the guy with the background that can pull it off. Have you thought about doing this?
No. I just
Never crossed your mind. You partner right now with the guy that ran and started UBR.
Yeah. No, I'd thought about it for sure, but I just don't know if I'm 60 years old, 61 years old. So I don't know if I want to work that hard anymore. And it's not a big money making endeavor. I don't think, to sell some memberships to a bunch of old guys that, you have to start some tracks up and, I'd rather just try to make Frogtown profitable, and easier. And so I can have fun because I don't have fun up there, you guys have fun. I don't have fun. I try to come to the bar and have one drink and I get fucking taken out,
So now do we tell that story?
But wait, just
No.
You're exactly right. It's your event.
just like when we do Dirty Fest. I mean, you're not gonna. It's hard to have fun because
when the signups are late and you got
Yeah.
some passes that want to try to sign up on Saturday because they couldn't read the sign that said no signups on Saturday, and you got to let them in, and so things get delayed and people are kind of bitching about it, and then freak lightning storm shows up and blows out the power in the whole county, and I got to start.
That's right.
scrambling to
I remember. That's
find-
right. You had the blackout. That's right.
Yeah,
Last
they
year.
start pulling generators from the racetrack
Yeah.
and extension cords to try to make the party happen. My party, it's work.
Dude,
Dude, and
I went to the bar.
yeah.
Yeah.
and you showed up at the bar. Everyone loved to see you. Everyone everyone at the party who shoulder to shoulder packed. Everyone loved to see you. And the best part of the entire night was when Crazy Ronnie,
Yeah, well,
Huff was
I didn't
going
wanna
towards
go
the
to
door.
party. I didn't want to go to the party. I was tired. It was a long day.
And when you're at the door, and then Crazy
Hold on.
Ronnie,
So Mike talks me into coming for one beer. Huff come for one beer.
just one. My
No.
famous 2 words, just one.
Just one. So I get there, and the bar is packed with the who's who of BMX in Angels Camp, California at that time, right? Bob Harrow's,
Yeah.
not Stu, but just you guys are all there.
Stuart was there. No,
Everyone's there.
Stuart's there. Everybody's there.
And I have the one beer, right? But I know I got to get up early because we're running races the next day, right? And as I'm leaving, and as you guys know, the bar is, man, it's about 40 feet from the front door to the hallway to the bathrooms, right?
Yeah.
With a pool table and the bar, like it's pretty small, right?
Yeah.
And I'm leaving to go out, and I got 8 feet to get to the door, right? And I'm walking, and my legs are scissored, like in a walking mode, like I'm like this. And about that time when the legs are going like this is about the time Ronnie comes up and he's been overserved. And he's offering to give me this one of those "I love you, man" things, right, in my ear, right? Grabs on my shoulder right when my legs are going this because I'm still walking, and he stumbles and inserts his leg in between my scissored moving legs
You
at the
guys
same
scissored.
time. And he's going down. Now he's tripped me, so I'm going down. And man, it was 550 hitting a floor made in 1856 of floor joists and wood of the gold rush era.
That was
Dude, it sounded like a cannon.
crazy, dude.
It was
like
it was so loud right at the front. It was
John
and the
Bonham's
entire
bass drum from Led Zeppelin, bass drum, big hit.
dude, everybody, the hundreds of people in the bar all turned, and then there's you two on the ground scissoring.
Yeah.
We saw Todd, man. We saw you walking out, man, and you were like on Nat Geo, that gazelle that's going through the water,
Yeah.
almost out, and the crocodile gets him by the back leg. Dude, just snatched you right down, bro. We were watching, laughing, dude.
I love you, man.
Fools are probably sitting there going, "Look, Huff's trying to leave. Watch Ronnie right now. Right.
Exactly what we were
There he
doing.
goes.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we were doing, literally.
EC was on the Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom. As the gazelle leaves the waterhole, here comes the angry crocodile. You can just see under its visor, it says, Nor Cal.
Hey, I got it.
That was so good.
I bounced right back up. I got it pretty fast. Ronnie did not get up very fast.
That's how you tell the story.
Oh, I know I got it pretty fast because he was.
That is not how we tell the
rolling
story.
and moaning over in the corner a little bit.
Dude, Huff and Ronnie, they were tangled. They were all scissored up and tangled. It was like, I'm sure you've seen that gazelle and the alligator rolling around in the mud, just like that. It was great.
And of course, everybody's like, going, "Holy cow!" Just took out the promoter of the event.
Yeah, that's how we told it. Dude, tackled him. Tackled him. He was mad because he was supposed to get a Trans Am, but he got a Mustang and he tackled Huff on the way out.
If I had anything to do with it.
Yeah.
There were some people that were because I mean Ronnie, that he was on one that night. He really was. He was on one that night.
Well, he was still on it at like 3 o'clock in the morning out in front of my bar when the local
Police.
County sheriffs picked him up to give him a ride back to wherever.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Sitting on the park bench out in front of the bar at like 3:30.
Yeah, he was.
He
got-
missed his first moto.
And there were some guys that were. There were some. They were actually mad. They were like mad that he did that to you. There was a few guys in there. I think Kathy Hanna was in there as well. She was.
Oh,
pissed.
Kathy Hanna was worried about me, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was mad. She's like,
We were
I
all
love
worried
that
about
Kathy
you.
Hanna was worried about me, right? Like, wow.
Yeah.
See,
It's good to be
Only
top
there's a
shelf.
chance.
Yeah,
It's good to be top shelf.
Ronnie was so
Could be pro my ass.
Oh man.
Hey,
Hey,
I gotta tell
Huff.
you guys one thing.
What's that? There it is.
What do you got? Talk tough so we can see it.
This is a medal, our new Nor Cal Hall of Fame medal.
Oh, wow.
That is so cool, man.
Just
That
showed
is
up.
great.
It doesn't have the ribbon on it. It's got a blue, green, and red ribbon that goes around their neck. So
So cool.
that's Brent Patterson from Grass Valley.
That's awesome.
That's
that.
great.
The rider of the
Huff, you-
boat, so.
Huff, are you guys putting Terry Tennant in the NorCal Hall of Fame?
Yes, he is part of the.
Inductees.
We grandfathered in all the National Hall of Fame people this year.
That's cool.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
They all
So
came in at the same time.
He's
you know,
getting
so-
he's getting inducted on this one, huh?
Yeah, there's 32 of them actually, but he doesn't get to speak. He gets to come up and get his medal and then shut the hell up and sit behind with Ronnie, right? Brent
Huff.
Patterson is going to accept on behalf of everybody.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Huff,
No, Brent.
why don't you run through when you get a chance, run through the week just for people that are,
Dude, this isn't a 4-hour podcast.
No, I mean the weekend. What do you mean?
Yeah, no. So Friday is same practice and registration, and then we're running the 4-star series modern race Friday afternoon at 5:00, and it's also an LCQ for the California Cup Grand Prix, which is new this year. So, and then I hope that I can come to the Patterson party because I didn't get to go last year. And then Saturday is we're only racing the first 2 motos, or only racing 2 motos for vintage stuff. And we're anticipating we're going to be done racing by 1:00. And then we're going to have the Legends autograph session and go home. And so everybody can go back, relax before the party, the Legends of BMX party, and the Nor Cal BMX Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which will be Saturday night at 5:30. And following that will be the auction for the Davis Finney Foundation. Mike is here as our auctioneer again.
Cool.
I'll be his Vanna White, I think, again,
Hey,
got
and
some
thank you
neat
so much
stuff.
for, yeah, man. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to do that. Anytime I can give back, man. Thank you, Todd.
Yeah.
Is that all in the same place, Todd? That like
that Mark Twain
Okay.
Hall. And
Gotcha.
hopefully no freak thunderstorm, so I can show up on time and be part of it, so
And hopefully nobody from NorCal tackles you in the doorway.
yeah. John Cruz is going to be the kind of the MC for the Hall of Fame induction. So
Cool.
I'm going to introduce John. I have a little video we're going to show, and then John's going to kind of rattle off all those 32 names, and
Wow.
anybody who's in the audience can come up to get their medal. We figure there's maybe going to be 10 or 12 of them,
Yeah.
And then Brent is going to accept on behalf of all of them and say whatever, hey, thanks, whatever. And then Brent's going to stay up there with John, and Brent's going to be the one to put the medal around the necks of the 8
the new
inductees.
inductees.
Yeah, and
that's
these are people
cool.
these are people that would never ever get in the National Hall of Fame. They're
Yeah.
just it's moved beyond to them now. So it's good. It's a good group of people, and John Wells is the pioneer racer, and Dave Busby, who rode for Panda.
Yeah. Busby.
Dave Busby, and then the Silver Shields team is the bike shop. They were an influential bike shop at the time. It became kind of Hank and Frank, if you guys remember Hank and Frank. Bike Shop.
Yeah.
And then Merritt College is the track, the official inducted track in Oakland. And then John Anderson from Redline fame is the amateur. We have an amateur category. And Doreen Payne is a
motocross racer.
Well, yeah, but she was a Jag rider and rode for Wes's BMX and so she's the girl rider. And then Denny Miners from M&M Apparel is the manufacturer.
Yeah.
We just felt that, you know, a jersey is the kid's first piece of feeling like he belongs to a team. And when you get that jersey, it's a big deal. And everybody had an M&M jersey at some point in their career, you know. And then John Valdez is getting the Icon Award.
Mm.
So there's 8.
Nice.
Yeah, and so they all get one of these. So with a ribbon.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So that's the weekend. Oh, and then so that's Saturday. Then Sunday are the semis and mains for the vintage stuff that'll be intermixed with the semis and mains for the California Cup Grand Prix. So Sunday is going to be big, we think, like Saturday, you know, because all the excitement of the vintage stuff mixed with these, you know, kids that, I mean, we're going to have, I'm hoping, hundreds of kids that have never been on a track like that ever, never put their foot down in a turn, you know, never didn't have a set of Christmas tree lights on the starting gate, you know, for them. And
never jumped a water hole with clipped end.
I think you should experiment with things like that each year, right? I mean, it's tough. It's tough. You can't really experiment with where your start hill is and that kind of stuff. But once you get out of that first turn, you know, you can experiment with different obstacles and things. I think you should always mix it up. I was talking with, I forget who I was talking with, but one of the things that was exciting, this wasn't so much in the 70s, but I remember in the 80s when we would go to a national, it was always like, we couldn't wait to get to the track, to walk the track. It was always different. There was always going to be something changed. And so
you go to a place like, you know, like South Park was super unique, right? Always super cool, right? Or even Louisville, right? Like the Grants track had that cool little way it finished. You know?
But they would change that a little bit, right? They would like the line with the pro doubles, the step up would get changed a little bit. The way it would go into the last turn. Sometimes they had the $100 humps. Sometimes they weren't as big. They would change little things about it, right? It was not ever exactly the same as it was the year before. And that's one of the things that we try to do at our event at Dirty Fest, because it's the same thing. You know, we want to keep it. You want to keep it a little bit fresh, right? A little bit. Like, it's like, man, I wonder what it's going to be like this year. I wonder how it's going to be this year. So that's something that we consciously talk about. And I like that you're doing different stuff. I think it's cool. I think it'll help your race, and I think it will keep it interesting for you and for the future. I think it can help you grow your numbers.
Yeah, the start straightaway first turn, that thing kind of can't do too much more, but that's kind of the charm of the event too, because that's the original.
That's right.
Shape of the hill from 40, almost 50 years ago, right? So,
that's right.
But no, because by now it's all overgrown and so it's got weeds and grass growing out of it, so it just
perfect.
Dirt, you know. So
they grow a lot of weeds up there, don't they? Dude, the best odds and endos I ever saw was a guy riding his bike backwards, juggling.
You stop.
Dude, that was the best odds and endos ever.
It was just odd. I didn't endo.
You were the odds. The other guy was the endo. Dude, that was a great picture, Huff. Was that your first picture in the magazine?
No, but it was very infrequent.
Wow, that was no, there was a picture of you coming out of the turn at Magic Mountain, I think. Somewhere there's a picture of you coming out of turn in the lead.
No, it was at Gnarler Park.
That was Gnarler Park. I knew it was a picture of you coming out in the lead somewhere with some heavy hitters behind you.
Happened once in a while.
But I'll tell you what, that picture of you in odds and endos was awesome. It's awesome. One of my favorites. Certainly my most memorable odds and endos. For sure.
That shit would be hard to do, man. It would be hard just to ride your bike back.
Right? Drama camp paying off.
Have you seen there's a new juggler guy? He's a viral guy online where he like skis and rides he rides his bike down mountain bike trails while he's juggling.
Oh, Huff, you got some competition.
He's while he's juggling. It's crazy. Then you're right in that, dude. You started a trend.
I'll
First
grab
Frogtown,
my
now
apple
this, you're a
once in while.
trendsetter.
I can't even do it anymore. I can't even juggle anymore. They go all over the place. So
I think it would be harder to ride
Awesome.
your bike backwards than juggle right now.
Yeah, right now? Heck yeah.
That would be hard.
Yeah.
I was out doing that in the parking lot at the Tropicana Hotel. Is when Oz caught me out there.
We're trying to get a job in Vegas, bro.
That was after Scott drove the bus.
Handling balls.
That was after Scott drove the bus under the overhang.
Oh,
So you know the bus had that box on the top of it, right, with the turret, like the
yeah.
camp.
Yep.
And the box is where we kept all the riding
Luggage. Yeah, right.
our bags and stuff in there, and then we put
Where
the
you
bikes
kept all
on
the
top.
weed. The dogs can't smell it.
No,
up
the
there.
weeds were down with us, close to the.
The dogs can't smell it on top of the van.
Anyhow, Scott's thinking he's going to be the big deal, wheeling the bus into the Tropicana Hotel for the Jag World Championships, right? Not even paying attention to the signs that talk about overhang clearance, right? And you know, it's the big overhang with the lights and where you pull up to valet park and all that stuff, right? It's the main entrance.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And we're all in the bus, the bikes are on top, and he comes wheeling off the strip, you know, and rolls up the thing and just hits that overhang with the box and the turret. And it's this big explosion of plywood and PVC pipe and aluminum PK rippers and shit raining down on the sides of the bus windows. And we're inside going, what? And Rod's going, you idiot. Like,
Oh,
Oh, God. Hey, we're an entrance.
bus
What,
now
what an
back.
entrance.
the bus is now wedged underneath the Tropicana Hotel deal, and their security comes out, and somehow Scott and his brilliance made it their fault.
Oh.
Of course he did.
Yeah. Either they didn't have some signage there or something, and what the interesting part, we only had one. Like Dwight Lowell bent his seat post, was bent on his cruiser. It was like the only, like, two parts were damaged, and the bikes just got literally like scraped off the top of the,
Wow.
you know. So you imagine that the box explodes, all the gear bags, and then this accordion of bikes that are now like Pringles potato chips raining off the side of the bus, you know.
Just thank God you didn't pierce through the pillowcase.
In the annals of VMX tour.
Oh, so good. Well, Huff, man, we love having you on. Thanks for everything you do for us. We love what you've done for BMX. Like you said, you gave us all something we didn't know we needed. And brother, we love it.
Well,
yeah,
honored to be here with you guys, and we're all part of something special. So
that's right. We had a kid last year show up at our race, and we nicknamed him Danny Red Mags, and he's because he was on a dyno VFR with red mags.
Wow.
And with this, so you know how we are. It's Danny Red Mags.
Yeah, that's your name.
That's the best name ever.
Yeah, that's your Delta Chi name, Danny Red Mags.
So Danny Red, and dude, the kid hauls ass, Huff. I think he's World 5 this year in normal BMX.
Oh my goodness, he's a real rider.
He's a modern day.
Yeah,
he's
dude,
a modern day racer.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah.
And he showed up with that bike as a modern
Yeah.
day racer. Like, that is the true spirit of the deal.
Hold on,
This
Huff.
is what we want, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
this is what we're trying to. As you know, this is what we're all trying to do.
Yeah.
So we put him in the wheel. He gets dirty. He's running Dirty Fest when we're done.
Okay, good.
And he was stoked, man. Like, he had the time of his life, dude. And so that's why for us, we looked at that as like, that's a breakthrough rider to be at our race, right? Because as you say, Huff, all of us old guys, and we get some new old guys that come, that it's like their first year coming, but really it's just us old guys. And,
right.
And we're aging out, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
and you guys probably notice it with the kids that ride Dirty Fest. And these are kids that ride modern tracks, right? They have the best time riding an old style track.
Oh, dude, they love it.
It's
dude,
like a completely new world.
I think he raced 4 classes, dude. It was like he was always on the track, man. So anyways, my point is, our hope is that, you know, that that 1B goes back to the hive and says, you guys are, I mean, yeah, we love the new BMX and we're racing for points on stuff. You guys have no idea how bitchin' this vintage stuff is, dude. You guys got to come try this. Cause that's what we really need to really blow it up, is to get younger new blood in it as well.
Well,
So,
and you guys
so
will be
you can
around
start your
first,
sanctioning body, Huff. After
That's
that, you
right.
start your sanctioning
Yeah,
body.
there you go.
Right, Huff?
You guys will obviously, because you're going to be stuck there on Sunday racing your semis and mains, but I mean, that's what we want to do with Sunday with this California Cup Grand Prix, is to drag a bunch of modern kids,
Expose them.
to ride that track.
That's right. That's right.
You know?
Because they I don't think all the modern BMX riders will like it, but Danny he's a talented bicycle rider. He actually can really ride a bike good.
Yeah.
And so
Well,
if you're just a musclehead, it may not, especially like a clipped in musclehead, it may not be as fun, but dude, he had such a blast, man. And foot out and dicing in corners and stuff. He had a great time.
well, Huff, our goal for Frogtown is to expose ourselves to all the kids.
No,
And
go to
with the
jail.
petting zoo. Oh no, not that kind of expose. Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood what you're saying.
We need the sheriff there.
Huff, thank you so much for being on here, man. You are now an official Dirty Knob.
All right, brother.
Proud of it. Peace, you guys.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
A couple weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that one, you bunch of dirty knobs.
Hey, this is John Cruz. No, we're not having an earthquake. I have Parkinson's. What do you think of that, Michael?
We ought to pitch in and get you a gimbal.
That would be nice. But seriously, this is John Cruz, and I obviously have something going on, and I was diagnosed with Parkinson's 20 years ago this year, actually. So I've chosen the Davis Finney Foundation over the years to be my voice for Parkinson's. If you're not familiar with the Davis Finney Foundation, Davis Finney is one of the winningest cyclists in American history. He's the roadie, if you guys remember those roadies out there, all that Lycra and stuff. But he is just a great man. When he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, he decided to make a difference in people's lives. And his choice was to start a foundation. And that foundation obviously wishes for a cure for Parkinson's, because there is no cure at this time. But they recognize that you have to live with Parkinson's. And your caregivers are having to live and take care of us. And the Davis Finney Foundation, that's what they do, is they only look for a cure, but they look for ways to enhance the quality of life for Parkinson's sufferers and their caregivers. So I appreciate all of you supporting the Davis Finney Foundation. It certainly means a lot to me. I know we all have something, right? So I think it's important to give back to our communities, whether it's BMX or a foundation that's close to your heart. If you don't have one, please choose mine. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you, John Cruz. You certainly have made a difference in a lot of lives, including mine, and giving us the opportunity to do something good for somebody else is fantastic. So thank you so much. And on behalf of John Cruz, please find a way to give something to the Davis Finney Foundation on behalf of John Cruz, the Dirty Knobs, and your entire BMX family. Thank you very much.
All right, all you old coots and young speed demons. This is Todd Huffman with the Frogtown Classic International BMX Days, going on its 4th year this September 6th through the 8th in Angels Camp, California. A little over 4 months away until you guys are able to tear up that downhill track once again. The one that started it all, the Frogtown Classic International BMX Days 2024.
Okay, so we're ready for this. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, record. Hey guys, this is Bill Ryan. I'm the owner of Supercross, and I'm now the caretaker of Torker. Now, Torker, you might see right above the shoulder here of this dirty knob, Mike Miranda. He's got a Torker jersey. He's a Torker alumni. We've been working for 9 years to bring Torker back to its original foundation, to its original roots, to its original twin top tube radness. A bunch of really cool restoration, remake, new versions of what you remember from your childhood that you actually get to ride. If you're in the UK, Alan's BMX, what a fun project. 9 years of my life has been dedicated into this to try and bring more fun to everybody out there. You need to ride a Torker. For more information, you just go to torkerracing.com or follow us on Torker Racing on Instagram. Boom, you're going to get to see all the inside stuff.
And then sing it out right now.
All right, coming live and direct from the Colt Clubhouse in Santa Ana, California. Come on down and get all your BMX needs. We're giving away free air for your tires. That's all I got, brother.
That's great. That's great. All right. Now.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
Velocity Bike Park is the premier bike park for riders in Southern California, with 25 miles of world-class trails, obstacles, flow track, and races for mountain biking, gravel, and BMX.
Ultramax, when you get home from the races, do you feel dirty? I mean, is your bike dirty? Really dirty? I know you're dirty. Well, that's when you need the Ultramax sponge, guaranteed to get all your hard-to-reach places clean. I know, because Hollywood is always dirty. Not available where reading glasses and bobbleheads are sold, but you can still get an Ultramax t-shirt at dirtyknobs.com.
B-Side Bikes, the very best in original vintage BMX and motocross parts. With many parts to choose from, we are consistently selling and buying. Hit us up for your special requests. Chances are we can find it. Since 2015 and family ran B-Side Bikes. The passion never fades at B-Side Bikes. It just continues. B-Side Bikes.
Hi everybody, Toby Henderson, founder of Box, co-founder of American BMX Companies, the owner of Race Inc., Botima, and Cook Brothers Racing. We brought these two companies together to bring you the best quality product you can get for a BMX bike. We're all about the rider, so please check out our Level Up and Rider First programs. See you at the track.
ODI Grips, the world leader in grip technology, home of the lock-on grip system. Check them out over at www.odigrips.com. 4416 Designs commercial. Take one.
There you go. All right. 4416 Designs. We make shirts, but we don't sell them. We're just giving back to the sport. If you're out at Ukaipa BMX and you need a shirt, hit me up. I'll hook you up with one.
Yeah, I love that. Mega Design Group is a full-service marketing firm. They handle everything from logos to advertising to packaging. Having over 25 years experience in the print and marketing fields, they can handle any hurdle. Check it out at megadesigngroup.com. Cool Stop Brake Pads. High-performance bicycle brake pads since 1977. Check them out at coolstop.com. That's KOOL stop.com.
Hey, you dirty knobs! You've been watching the Dirty Knob Podcast with Mike Miranda, Eric Carter, and James Vicente. Guess what? Now, I'm Bill Ryan. This is Supercross BMX. You need to click on the supercrossbmx.com. Come on over. Buy stuff. We need to sell stuff so we can keep in business, so we can keep supporting the show. Come on. Do it.
Hey everyone, this is Brian Wilson with ProGate. We are the official gate supplier for UCI and the Olympics. We even make a gate that you can practice on in your driveway at home.
Wait a minute, who else are you making a gate for?
We're making a gate for Dirty Fest. You guys got to come and check it out. Whatever Dirty Fest needs for this track, we're going to supply it. We're not some French knockoff, you know. We're the gold standard in BMX gates. And make sure to check us out at progate.net and bmxtracksupply.com, and we'll see you at Dirty Fest for sure. Take care, everybody.
Hey, folks, this is Mike Rodriguez, aka Mr. Crit. I've been racing and making number plates since 1980. You know, like when they used to do one pedal starts. But you know, Crit Plate has been around for 43 years. The last 4 decades, the who's who of BMX have raced a Crit number plate straight to the handlebars. And you know, you get that guy Mike Savage, the international man of BMX, still doing it strong. And you know, back in the day, the plates used to be reversible because there was multiple sanctions, and you could put, you know, one sanction on one side, one on the other. Now you just got one. But Crit is still reversible, and that logo is still on the back for guys like Mike and you rad guys, you know, like Mike Miranda, who would turn those handlebars and twist them up. And we got it rad just for you.
All right. Hey, where will we see those plates?
Those plates you can see at every single bike shop that stocks BMX stuff in the USA and Canada.
And where will you be at? Will you be at an event sometime soon?
Damn, I'm sponsoring the Dirty Fest, and I can't wait to come out to Southern California and get dirty.
Amy grips, still made here in the USA. Used by world champions like me, Tommy Brackens. If you want to know more about the best grips on earth, go to amy.com.
All right, Mark, you ready?
Yeah.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is Dino Bartoli from ABSA Pro.
And I'm Mark Darcy from ABSA Pro.
Together, we are bringing you the ABSA Pro Bike Show Association. Our mission is to bring together a bike show community across the United States. We have these bike shows. We're going to run them all the same with consistent rules and a detailed, organized judging format. We wanted to make an organization so that you guys can get points. So there's a point system, a code of conduct, rules and regulations. We have a membership that's specifically old school bike shows. You want to get on board all that hard work and dedication that you put into your bikes. You want to show it off. You want to have it justified, all that hard work you've done. You want to bring it out to our shows. You want to join our memberships, get associated with us.
Actually, our awards are phenomenal awards. We have best of show trophies. We have 17 classes. There's 3 trophies per class. And we even hand out super clean awards to some of the other participants that are there. So come check it out. Come bring your bikes, enjoy the shows, and enjoy what we're doing with the bike show community.
Don't forget to sign up.
Our website has all our judging critiques on it, how we judge, what we judge, our 50-point scale with quarter points. We take it down to the nitty-gritty to make sure the best of the bike wins.
Dino, where do we go to find out that information?
You go to absapro.com. That's absapro.com.
Let me say that again, absapro.com.
Ready?
And that's going in.
Yeah. We need a doing. All right.
What's your nickname for like on the mic? Do you have a?
No.
You don't have?
I don't really have a nickname. It's Mike.
Oh.
Just Mike on the mic.
That's,
She got one.
That's getting edited.
Yeah.
We're putting that in.
Hi,
I'm Mike Miller, author of Day One by Michael Miller. And a special offer going out. Anybody who buys the book between now and Dirty Fest, which is April 28th through 30th, I'm going to take all the money from the book and send it to the Davis Finney Foundation for those with Parkinson's. So get your copy on Amazon.com and we'll make a donation.
Hey, what was the name of that book again?
Day One by Michael Miller, which is me.
I'm sorry. Hey, what was that name again?
Day One by Michael Miller.
Hey, support the podcasts that support us, our friends. The fine folks over there at All Things BMX, which is our favorite Wednesday night live podcast, as you know. Our buddies over there at Beer Budget BMX, Big Bike BMX, and BMX Weekly. Check them out. Check them out. Our friends.
What's up, everybody? It's your friend Isaac from Big Bike BMX, and I've got a podcast with my best friend, 80s BMX Craig.
Yep. And guess what, you guys? If you have enjoyed your time here on the Dirty Knobs podcast, we'd love for you guys to come over and hang out with us at Big Bike BMX, where we've got all your old school legends and BMX from the past and today at Big Bike BMX. Isaac,
come check us out. We'd love the opportunity to win you over. And if not, hey, it's just another place to talk about BMX with your grimy friends. It's fun.
Hey, Dale Holmes, I want to tell you something. One of my favorite podcasts that I never miss is BMX Weekly. Even though it has an accent, I still love it.
Cheers, Mike. You can get all the podcasts on bmxweekly.com. Old school, mid school, today's school. Check it out.
Yeah, BMX Weekly.
Hey, here we go. Hey, Beer Budget BMX, baby. Coming at you live from the Beer Budget Studios over here at the Hack Shack Quarantine. Oh, man, we're coming in hotter than Satan's nutsack. Yeah, we are dirtier than an Alabama strip club where reclass pros go and get lap dances by their half-sister. Yeah, the only show that'll make you second-guess your life choices like a Amish on an e-bike.
Hey, if you guys enjoy what you just listened to, make sure you tune in every Wednesday night to the All Things BMX show, the only live streaming podcast show in the game right now. Even ask Mike. He's been on. Vicente's been on. Still waiting for that other guy to come on the show. You can find us on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. And you can also find us at allthingsbmxshow.com.
Keep it dirty.